3. We are getting that started. We got the first slate of games coming on here. Should be kicking off here pretty soon. I'm going to get my stuff set up. We just got off of our pre-game show over there, and that was a lot of fun hanging out with people, getting their questions and stuff. Johnny, how are you doing today?
Doing good, man. Excited for another week. Sunday NFL. Definitely hoping for a more entertaining first slate of games here this week. I know last week it wasn't the best fantasy week for a lot of owners on those 12 o'clock games. So hoping to see a little bit more today on these Sundays games.
Oh, I'm so with you. I mean, God, even these last both weeks have been rough. But last week when we were on, oh boy, that was a struggle. So hoping this week brings us a little bit more joy. Granted, the second slate of games last week had some more exciting players playing. That first slate didn't necessarily have that much excitement, but man, I'm hoping that something better comes today.
No, for sure. Yeah, hoping for a few more points to be put up on the board. But yeah, there's definitely a few interesting matchups today I'm looking out for. But personally, I'm excited to see Bucks Rams. I know that's at 3, but that's the one game that I'm going to be looking out for today.
That's going to be a great game, I feel like.
Yeah.
So it looks like most noon games or all have kicked off. They just all kicked off. So, we'll be here to cover everything that goes on with them. So,
yeah, sure.
Johnny, excited to have you back today. I know we don't have you for the full slate here, but it's always great to be on here with you. It's always a lot of fun. So, excited to get this going. We'll keep you guys updated with stats and all the goings on here. So, let's see. A bunch of kickoffs. Let's see any first plays here. Mike Davis with a 4-yard rush, and James Robinson with a 1-yard rush. So starting off big here. No, it's not going to take off that quick. Any other matchups you're interested in today?
I mean, I believe Kansas City has a good matchup. The last time I checked, I'm not.
Yeah,
exactly
they're playing the Chargers right now. I've actually got that on live here. That's what I'm watching. And that was one that was on my slate of ones I was really interested in. So
yeah, that's a game that I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes on. I don't have too many players from either of those teams. I think I have Keenan Allen in a league, but just an overall good game between two solid teams this season.
Absolutely. Yep. I'm excited for that. I also have Austin Eckler in about 8 of my 10 leagues.
Right.
So always like to watch that and see how that goes. So
for sure. Yeah.
And he's already getting some good work put in. So he's a big part of that offense, which I really like. I like that receiving aspect that he brings. And so
definitely
that's dangerous. I mean, we've seen that with Alvin Kamara, and I mean, even going back as early as like Darren Sproles and things. I mean, those receiving backs, they're dangerous. So.
Yeah, especially fantasy wise, you can get so much production from them because they could rush for 50 yards and you could still get a 100-yard game because they're receiving for 50 plus yards.
Exactly. And in a PPR, even half PPR, I mean, there's a lot of value in that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. We already got a Baker Mayfield pass complete to Odell Beckham for 13 yards. So Odell Beckham getting in the game early there. I'm personally really happy to see that. I'm starting him in one league. I sat him in another just because I didn't want to put all my eggs in one basket, not knowing exactly what that was going to look like. But man, as I'm just a fan of Odell Beckham, even though he did my Cowboys dirty and to put his name out there and get himself on the map. But I just really like him.
No, definitely. And I'm not 100% sure, but is Jarvis out this week?
Yes. Yeah, I think they placed him on IR. Actually.
Yeah. So that would obviously mean that Odell's going to get a ton of work, I assume, in that passing game.
Yep.
Obviously, a run-centered team. We talked about this a little bit last week when we actually saw Jarvis go down, but obviously Odell will probably get a lot of work today in that Browns offense.
No doubt. I saw DeAndre Swift got an 11-yard carry right off the bat there against that Ravens defense. That's promising. So happy about
Yeah,
that for
def-
sure.
definitely. And the Ravens coming off a big week 2 victory too against the Chiefs, which is a great game. I loved watching that game going back and
Fantastic.
forth.
Yep. Jamal Williams already in. He's getting a 1 yard rush there. So they're sticking with the rotation. It looks like there. So that'll be interesting to just see. I think that's going to be a just one of those backfields 1-2 punch. I could see that being a lot like the Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt look there, which I don't necessarily hate because they're both getting such great volume that that opportunity is just there.
Yeah,
And it keeps them fresh, keeps them from getting hurt. So I don't necessarily mind that.
yeah, definitely. I know Jamal Williams. I saw a few of those skits he was putting up. I don't know if you saw those, but he was talking and it was pretty funny. I feel bad for the guy because I think he's pretty talented, but Green Bay
Yeah,
just wasn't the fit for him because obviously they have Aaron Jones, and after getting AJ Dillon, it's like I don't think there was enough room for him to fit in. But I think he's finally found his spot in Detroit where he can get a lot of work done.
yeah, I agree, and I'm happy for him there for sure. Looks like Josh Allen just got a 13-yard pass to Diggs, and right before that, I think it was also a 13-yard pass to Emmanuel Sanders. So Josh Allen coming out strong, tossing the ball around pretty well already, and already down on the Washington 29-yard line pretty quick, just a few plays because he had a 23-yard pass, I think, to Gabriel Davis right before that. So he's just chuck yards there, just bam, bam, bam. So that's good for him for sure.
Against a good Washington defense too. Definitely. Um, it's going to be a game to watch out for as well, that Washington Bills game, because both those teams I expect to be really good this year. It'll be interesting to see how Taylor Heineke plays in his second week as a starter now, because I liked how he played last week. I mean, every time he stepped on the field, he's done pretty good for the football team. I mean, I'm not expecting too much from him. So what he's done so far has impressed me.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like the Falcons already an 8-yard pass to Cordero Patterson. Man, they've gotten him. They've kind of revived his entire career this year. I mean, he went from supposed to be a big deal to never a big deal, and now he's relevant all of a sudden. That's
Honestly,
interesting.
no, I have personally, I've been starting him over Davis because just what I've seen from that offense, it's ridiculous. I mean, I was expecting Davis to be a top 15 running back this year, and it looks like Corell Patterson is ending up like a top 15 running back and wide receiver this season. So,
That's the
um,
interesting part to keep in mind is that he's dual citizenship there. You know what I mean? Like running back and wide receiver. Kyle and I have him in a league, and we actually started him. We were looking at him in our flex, and it was like, wait a second, we can start him in our wide receiver, and then we ended up
yeah,
starting Mike Davis in our flex instead. So we kind of got an extra running back in there. Um, yeah, I mean that's an interesting dynamic right there. But use it to your advantage because they're giving him the ball. They're finding a way to get him the ball, and it's a good matchup today. I feel like for both of those guys too. I think this is a good game for Atlanta to try to get that offense rolling a little bit.
right. And yeah, I mean, that's something we haven't seen in a while is a running back or a wide receiver is actually listed as a running back there. I mean, there's definitely receiving backs like Christian McCaffrey, but nobody used like Cordarrelle. And looking here, it looks like Josh Allen passed for the first touchdown of the day, caught by Emmanuel Sanders for 28-yard touchdown. So Bills off to a great start against Washington.
I mean, that's a quick start. They were
Yeah,
just chuck yards too. That Washington defense not doing well right there. That pass defense that is. I'm not even sure that they. I don't even know if they ran the ball that entire drive.
no, I didn't see.
I'm gonna look up
I
some
didn't.
stats here and just see if there's any rushing yards. Um, let me see. Rushing yards. Oh, it looks like Josh Allen carried the ball one time for 4 yards. So otherwise, nothing. That's that's incredible. So
Right. Yeah.
so it's
Josh
Josh
Allen.
Allen the entire drive. So coming out strong, giving us that performance that everyone's been waiting for, essentially.
Yeah. All his fantasy owners have been craving that big game. And I think today we might be in for a wild ride with the Bills. I think that they're going to produce big numbers. So I'd like to see how they progress through the game.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see if they can keep that up. I mean, that is quite the pace. Man,
Right.
just coming out swinging, man. That's incredible. That was quick.
Um,
Not seeing. Oh, there's a 9-yard pass to Alvin Kamara. That's been something that hasn't been happening as much this year as in the past. So it'll be interesting to see if they kind of get that going, if they recognize it, that that's something they need to get going and keep that up. I
right.
also
Yeah.
I see James Robinson with a 6-yard rush down there. So rejoice for James Robinson owners there that he is at least touching the ball today, which is nice.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, as I've said, James Robinson has the potential. It's just whether or not they're going to give him the opportunity and they're going to give him the ball enough to make plays and get points up on the board.
Yep, exactly. It's crazy. He touched the ball so much last year. I mean, it was just incredible the amount of work he got.
Right.
So, and
And
also just touching base here on the Ravens, it's looking like they are doing a full running back by committee here. I mean, even Devontae Freeman just got a touch after Latavius Murray got a touch, and I'm guessing Tyson before that. So they're just running the full gamut. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do, which is interesting.
crazy. Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, they've just been so unfortunate with those injuries from running back. I mean, I was so high on Jakey to start this season, so it was really unfortunate to see him go down. But
Yeah.
I'm happy to see that they're still able to produce at a high level as a team. Obviously, last week they upset the Chiefs, but I mean, I could still see them making a deep playoff run if Lamar continues playing the way he is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're still, ugh, that team has such great potential for sure. Let's see if there's anything else kind of relevant going on right now.
You see
Uh,
Tannehill with a 17-yard rush right now, so he's definitely
there
showing
you go.
off his legs there. I've talked about it a lot. I think that he's a great rushing quarterback because
Yep.
Derrick Henry takes a lot of the attention away from that defense. So he has a lot of room to work with. Tannehill rushing the ball. So if they can get him moving a lot more, and that'd be great. And talking about Derrick Henry too, he got a lot of work in the pass catching offense last week, which is surprising for me. I didn't expect him to be that involved in that pass offense.
Yeah, we kind of hear that every offseason, right? Like, oh, he's working on his pass
Yeah.
catching and they're going to use him. And it's like, okay. But this year, seems like they're actually doing it. He's catching a lot more passes this year.
Yeah, he's definitely getting a lot of work, which I'm not gonna say, he's not a bad pass catching back, but he's definitely not the type of guy that you'd expect to see putting up, I don't know, 50 yards receiving every game. So
Right.
uh, I'd like to see if that continues through this season or if it was just like a one-off game.
Agree. Agree. I'm just looking here. Looks like I saw something pop up that I was curious at. Oh, James Winston throwing to Deontay Harris there. I'll be interested to see if Callaway uh, gets into this game much today or not, or if he's going to continue to disappoint.
Yeah, because coming out of that phenomenal preseason game, he hasn't really done too much. And I know a lot of people liked him, hyped him up a lot. So he definitely needs to step up his game to please those fantasy owners who had stashed him on their bench at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, luckily he was so cheap in drafts. You could get him so late. I know
Yeah.
I got him in many leagues, and but he came in like second to last or last round even. I mean,
Mhm.
he was a good steal. So if he ends up paying off, I can just kind of stash him. Actually, I've dropped him in probably two of those leagues at the moment for people who are producing right now. But it'll be interesting just to see if that chemistry comes back or if it was just a fluke preseason ordeal.
Yeah, for sure. I don't really know how to touch on that right now. I mean, I think he had a good preseason, but that's basically all we've seen. So I can't really judge it off just a few preseason games. So we'll have to
Right.
see if he gets any work over this week, maybe next week. And then after that, I mean, if you're still rostering him and he hasn't done anything, I'd say it's probably time to cut ties.
Agree. Also, Patrick Mahomes with a no look pass, but ended up off of his receiver, off his shoulder pads. and got intercepted. So the Chargers have the ball back now based off of that. So
Man.
Terry McLaurin just got a 16-yard reception from Taylor Heineke. And let me see. Is there something else I want to touch on? Oh, that Saints game is still stuck on that 12-yard pass to Deontay Harris. So might be an injury or something going on there. We'll keep you updated if we learn anything. Cardinals have the ball now. Kyler Murray passed 6 yards to Max Williams. And then Najee Harris has a 12-yard reception from Ben Roethlisberger. Curious on that Cardinals on how DeAndre Hopkins, what his role is going to be today, if he's struggling with some injury or sickness, whatever he has going on. It'll be interesting to see how that plays into like Rondale Moore and his production.
Yeah, I didn't think that the Cardinals desperately needed a nuke for this week's game against the Jags. I just think that they can take him whether or not they had Hopkins, but obviously I think they're going to ease him into things off that injury that he did have. And I wanted to touch on this Titans game here. It looks like the Titans are in the red zone, 2nd and goal on the Indianapolis 6, so we'll keep an eye on that as well.
Nice. And Jameis Winston, 17-yard pass to Kenny Stills. I forgot Kenny Stills was even on that team. But that's a good talent right there. Kyler Moore with a 28-yard pass to Christian Kirk. Kirk always gets those big receptions like that. And looks like DeAndre Swift had a fumble. It initially showed that was Jamal Williams, but it looks like they just switched that. DeAndre Swift with a rush for no gain and then fumbled it away to the Ravens. So not sure what to trust there, but right now it's looking like DeAndre Swift actually fumbled that.
Yeah. And just poking into this Giants game here, Graham Gano with a field goal. So Giants up first on the scoreboard. Graham Gano coming off like a 20-point week. So probably one of the big waiver ads as far as kicker goes. So anybody who bought into him, he is definitely paying off early in this game.
Absolutely. Logan Thomas getting early action with an 11-yard reception. Wouldn't be surprised to see that production uptick for Logan Thomas the further in we go into the season here. Christian Kirk getting another reception for 9 yards. It's looking like some of these other wide receivers are going to get an uptick in usage this week because of the Hopkins situation. So sad for Hopkins owners, but it is what that's fantasy football,
Yeah, for sure. And now looking at this Titans game, they did cash in. So Tannehill with the pass to see Rodgers for 6-yard touchdown. Bullock with the extra point. So Titans up 7-0 against an Indianapolis Colts team who has yet to win a game this season. But to give them credit, they have had a few really tough matchups, and they've looked pretty good. They're probably the best 0-2 team that I've seen so far. I
would actually agree with that. Yeah, that's tough too, to be performing well but have a tough schedule like that, starting off 0-2. It's unfortunate and it kind of hurts your feelings, but as long as they realize that they're playing good and just keep it up, then they have a promising season ahead of them, I feel like.
Yeah, and I mean, to come into the season with 3 really, really hard matchups, and with Carson Wentz not playing a regular season game yet with the offense, you have to expect a little bit of rust. And last week, I mean, putting up 24 points against a good Rams defense is, I would say, an accomplishment, even though they lost. I mean, to bring the game just to 3 points, I think the Colts looked pretty good. And as you said, I think they're promising future.
Yeah, I agree. Just a quick update here. Looks like Jameis Winston has an 11-yard touchdown pass to Alvin Kamara. So Alvin Kamara doing Alvin Kamara things. That offense rolling a little bit better this week than it did last week. And then before that, Kyler Murray had a 1-yard touchdown rush for you. So Kyler Murray doing Kyler Murray things. So a couple scores early this week, already more exciting than last week.
No, I feel like we've got more scores already than we did the entire last week. So this is already feeling better.
And with fantasy relevant people, I understand Tannehill's pass was to an irrelevant receiver, but that's good for Tannehill because Tannehill owners have been waiting for those rushing yards and those scores for quite some time. Me being one of them. Of where's the Ryan Tannehill that we were all hyping up at the beginning of the season? So there he is. I mean, and same kind of thing with Josh Allen. Um, just been waiting for it. He come out and delivered today. And speaking of him, he's back on the field now with the ball, 3-yard pass to Diggs. So, yeah, good to see Josh Allen firing on all cylinders. It seems like good to see Alvin Kamara with some production early, and Tannehill with some production early here. So, little deep breath there. And speaking of just sigh of relief, Calvin Ridley with a 19-yard reception. You know, he was touted that possibly, with Julio leaving, being the number 1 overall wide receiver this year. But Matty Ice just not doing. He's playing like he's older. You know, he's just that offense is not producing, which is it's sad. But maybe they get it going today. Maybe they just needed a little bit better matchup like the Giants, and maybe they can get some stuff going. Same with Mike Davis, who just got an 8-yard rush. Maybe this is the type of game to get him going too. So sometimes you just need those type of games.
At the same time, though, I think for Atlanta, I think it's time to move on from Matt Ryan. This is probably their last season that they're going to stick with him because it's just been disappointment ever since that Super Bowl loss against the Patriots. And Matt Ryan just hasn't been the same player. So I think it's time to look for a different quarterback, and maybe that offense will improve at that point because the talent is there. I mean, they got Pitts, Ridley, Davis now, Patterson, all these guys. It seems like they're just missing a quarterback and some help on that defense, and they'd be a pretty solid team.
Yep. I'm going to come right back to that. I just want to give a couple updates. Jonathan Taylor with a 23-yard rush, and it looks like the Bengals, looks like Joe Burrow may have just thrown an interception to Terrell Edmonds. So looks like the Steelers got an interception there. And it seems like there was one other, but I can't recall. It probably wasn't anything super exciting. Mark Andrews with a 16-yard reception there. So, yeah, that Jonathan Taylor, that's a good rush there. What were we talking about? I was going to come back to something. Moving on from Matt Ryan. I'm surprised they haven't tried taking a quarterback and moving on just a little bit already. Like, why do you not take someone this year in the draft and prepare for that? It's confusing that that's not a thing that they did, in my opinion. Even if you planned on playing Matt Ryan all this year, at least have someone waiting, learning. I think they're just waiting way too long.
And that's what I was kind of thinking. I mean, Pitts is he's a generational talent. I mean, one of the best tight end prospects we've ever seen. But you need to at least look into the future and think you need a quarterback. That's the manager of the offense. And Matt Ryan's not going to be that guy anymore. So you need to find another guy to fill in that role because Matt Ryan, I don't even know if he's going to win a game this year.
Right.
So, yeah. And just speaking about that game, actually, it looked like Calvin Ridley may have fumbled, but it was called off. So Atlanta's punting it away to the Giants, who are already up 3-0 at the moment.
And going back here to the Ravens, yeah, Tyson Williams also getting rushes. They're just rotating them to find that hot hand, it seems like. And I don't know how you get a hot hand getting one rush and then subbing out, and getting one rush and subbing out. That makes no sense to me. It's whoever happens to be in on the play that the offensive line blocks the best. So right now playing Russian roulette with running backs, which is never a fun game for a fantasy owner. Marvin Jones with an 8-yard reception. That's been kind of a surprise to me this year that Marvin Jones has ended up being the guy there, and sad that I didn't recognize that and get him on any of my teams.
For real, yeah. Marvin Jones, love him this year. I loved him in the past. I think that he's going to continue to produce big numbers, especially now that Trevor Lawrence has adjusted a little bit more to the NFL. I mean, he still threw quite a few picks last week, but I think he'll get into the groove of things, and I wouldn't doubt him just yet.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Tyreek Hill with an 11-yard rush there. Gosh, what an explosive player. Just get the ball in his hands and make things work. Yeah, Ravens there with Devontae Freeman. Boy, that's interesting. I mean, you've got a weak run defense there, and they're just going to rotate and not let anyone really get into a groove. I started Tyson in oh, maybe 2 leagues, just because the matchup was fantastic, and
Mhm.
now it looks like those coaches are going to mess with that a little bit. Going back to Marvin Jones, he just got a 14-yard reception. So, um, talk about hot hands. Looks like he's kind of the guy there for sure. But there's a lot of good wide receivers there, and for some reason, he's just the guy right now. Oh, there's Latavius Murray for Raven. It's literally one play,
Crazy.
rotate, one play, rotate, and that is not good for fantasy owners. And it's probably not good for them in real life either because they're not really getting uh, any production out of it. I mean, they're
No,
rushing for pretty much nothing. Justin Tucker just missed that 49-yard field goal wide right. They're just not going to get any production rotating running backs like that. That just makes
there's
no sense to me.
they're not giving them enough opportunity. I would understand a few rushes, then switch it if you're looking for a hot hand, but to be switching every play, I mean, you better hope that your running backs are conditioned because those guys running on and off the field all game at that pace.
Yeah, I mean, give them a drive apiece. I could see you rotating
Yeah.
them every drive, but every play makes no sense to me. Unless you have like 2 of them on the field at a time. If you're running a
Mhm.
2-back type of offense, which I highly doubt they're doing, sounds like they're just being ridiculous. And that's a dangerous game to play and not really fair to those running backs in real life. And it's not fair to us fantasy owners. Come on. That's what really matters, anyways.
Yeah,
Real
of
life,
course.
no, give me fantasy football.
No,
Come
forget the team. Fantasy football matters way more.
on. As shot callers would say, fantasy is life. Come on. There's Kenny Galladay with a 19-yard reception. Surprise.
Yeah, good to see though, because Kenny, the potential's there. I mean, he was a Pro Bowl wide receiver in 2019. It's just a matter of can Daniel Jones be good enough to feed him the ball and get him balls that he can make a play on.
Yep. Yep. And I mean, man, I just don't trust Daniel Jones in any of that.
Mhm.
I know this was a good matchup for him, and that was one of the big things of the week. It came up in lots of our pregame questions all week. Actually, is Daniel Jones this week? It play him or no? And I told everyone no. It's fool's gold
Mhm.
because he just hasn't really proven that. And yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if he could get that going just to get Kenny Galladay going, but I just don't trust it. I don't trust it. I think Kenny Galladay is a great wide receiver when he's healthy, which is
Yeah.
also rare. I just don't trust Danny Dimes to give it to him, to get it to him. Well,
No, I would have said the same thing. I would say don't start Daniel Jones, but if you want to start a guy like Sterling Shepard against this defense, I would be all in. I know I started him in one of my leagues just because he's producing big numbers right now,
yep,
and I mean just because he gets a touchdown, that's big for him as a wide receiver. But Daniel Jones, I don't see him putting up more than a few touchdowns this game, and
no,
he's just not going to be consistent. So to have him as your quarterback one, you're in big trouble.
yeah, I actually like Sterling Shepard uh, a lot. I mean, he's getting a lot of he's just getting a lot of targets. I mean,
Mhm.
and that's what matters. Alvin Kamara with a 6-yard rush, and I just saw another one. See if I can remind myself. It was Joe Mixon had a 4-yard rush. That's what it is.
Mhm.
Jamal Williams with a 14-yard rush. I have a bad feeling for you Swift owners, me being one of them. I have a feeling that he might be in the doghouse for a minute if he fumbled the ball. Looks like he probably is the one that fumbled the ball. So Jamal Williams might be getting some action here. So um, yeah, you know how that goes. You can lose the trust of your coach really quick if you fumble the
Right.
ball.
Early
So
in the game too is not what you not at any point of the game actually, but um, yeah,
yeah,
I
that's
mean until Jamal looks like he's not producing, I mean I don't expect them to take him out of the lineup because Swift fumbled the ball, and I mean
and
I don't
Jamal's good.
expect them to pull. Yeah,
He's going to produce. 15-yard pass to Jamar Chase from Joe Burrow, so that's good for Jamar Chase. That Steelers defense is tough, so it'll be interesting to see how much production comes there. I personally sat all. Oh, Oh, there it is. Marquez Callaway got an 11-yard reception.
There we
Okay,
go.
okay, that happened. So he's already at like half of his stats from last week, right? So, uh, woo, there's our
Finally paying
sarcastic
off.
celebration.
I mean, I don't think anybody would have started him this week, unless you were really, really desperate. But if
Well,
you
we
did,
started him in one league, and that's because you had like 2 wide receivers and like 3 flex spots, and
yeah.
there's no one on waivers. So was forced to start him. So I wouldn't mind seeing some production out of him. But yeah,
No,
you've probably either dropped him or he's definitely riding your pine at this point.
for sure. Yeah.
Um, looks like who has Joe Mixon getting some good little rushes, 4-6 yards. So that's a tough Steelers defense to get production against, and he's doing it.
Hmm.
And there's a 4-yard pass to DeAndre Swift, so it looks like at least Swift's still going to be getting some receiving yards in there because Jamal Williams got a few uh, rushes in there before that. So trying to see if there's anything. Oh, this is horrible news. I just had an injury update. Titans wide receiver A.J. Brown is questionable to return with a hamstring injury. That
Yikes.
sucks because I'm playing him in many leagues, and we advised many people to start A.J. Brown this week as his potential breakout game, and now he has a hamstring injury. That's probably my bad because most players that I own end up getting hurt. It's just a thing
Hmm.
in fantasy football for me. So anytime I pick somebody up or trade for somebody, they get hurt almost immediately. So have him in multiple leagues and really believed in him, and he's hurt. So that's just the jinx of Corey there.
But that means Julio is going sky high now because
Yep.
I would expect Tannehill to be looking his way quite a bit. But AJ Brown this year so far hasn't been the receiver we expected. I know he was thought of as like a top 5 receiver when Julio hadn't been traded. And once he was traded, I know a lot of people still liked him a lot. So hopefully he can recover quick and it's not a big injury, maybe just a pulled hamstring or something like that. Nothing too crazy.
And maybe he just tweaked it just enough to
Hmm.
scare himself or something. Maybe it's not that big a deal. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that update. Marcus Callaway with a 13-yard reception here.
Oh, there we
Um,
go.
and what's interesting here, oh, and then a 4-yard to Tony Jones Jr. What's interesting is to see it looks like Jameis Winston's coming out kind of firing today. Last week that offense they went from hero to zero, and today it
Yeah.
looks like they're coming back out against that Patriots defense of all defenses and doing well already. So
Yeah,
that's
of
pretty good.
course. And looking here, Bengals putting points up on the board. Joe Burrow passing to Tyler Boyd, 17-yard touchdown. So that brings the Bengals 7-0 over the Steelers. I mean, good start for the Bengals. It's a divisional rivalry right there. So if they can win that game, that'll be huge.
Yeah, that's good. That's better production already from that Bengals offense than I thought they were going to do
Mhm.
against Pittsburgh. I thought they were going to struggle just a little bit more, and so good for them. It looks like Logan Thomas with another 15-yard reception there, so he's also getting some work early, which is good. Um, yeah, proud of that Bengals offense. We advised against playing anyone on that Bengals uh, offense this week if you had better options, and may have been wrong. That Bengals offense may be doing pretty well.
Yeah, I think the Steelers. I just don't think that they're the team to look out for in that division, like at all. I think the Browns are probably better than them.
I like
I
the Browns.
think that the Ravens and I mean, if the Bengals win this game, the Steelers could honestly be considered the worst team in that division, which is kind of scary because the Steelers are quite the talented team with a lot of talented players on that roster.
That's a good division though.
Yeah,
Kareem Hunt just got an 18-yard reception, so that's good too. Yeah, I think that division up there is talented, very talented, and
that
very
one that division and the Seahawks division, I would say probably
yeah.
the 2 best in the league at the moment. I mean, there's not a weak team in any of those 8 really good playoff contending teams right there.
Yeah, that's that's going to be interesting to watch. See how that comes out. Marvin Jones with another 11-yard reception. Calvin Ridley with a 4-yard reception. And Marvin Jones just racking up receptions. I'm going to go look at some stats over there and just see how he's looking.
While you go, I just wanted to mention that the Colts look like they intercepted a pass from Tannehill. Yes, I believe that's what it was. So they will have the ball around the 50 at the moment.
Nice. What I'm looking for here is, let me refresh my stat keeper here. See if I can't get to some live coverage here. PPR. Okay. Looking like Emmanuel Sanders leading the way. Oh, Marvin Jones, 6.3 points in PPR. So, not super great, but also not bad. I mean, for this early on, we're already getting higher scoring points than we were last week. Last week was such a struggle to get anyone producing. You got Odell Beckham with 5, and Marquez Callaway with 4.4, Calvin Ridley with 4.3, Marquise Brown with 3.6, Diggs with 3.6. Now, these aren't high numbers, but they're top 10 right now, which, considering how last week went, when you had just no names up there, and you had big names like this that were just, you had to scroll to find them. So, Emmanuel Sanders leading the way now with 13.8 points. Tyler Boyd right behind with 10.4 because of their scores, those touchdowns. Christian Kirk's at number 5 right now with 5.7. So, still early seeing that. Going over to running back really quick, Alvin Kamara leading the way with 12.7. Huge drop down to 4.7 points from Derrick Henry, followed by Kareem Hunt with 4.1. So still waiting on some production there from our running backs, but I feel like it's already going better than last week. It was just, the worst. It was the worst.
Definitely. Yeah, it was.
And then you just got a 31-yard rush from Lamar Jackson.
And I believe what was a 17-yard pass to Zach Moss from Josh Allen. So Bills running backs getting that work in again like they did last week. I think both Singletary and Moss rushed for touchdowns in last week's Sunday's game.
Yeah, that's Najee Harris with a 4-yard rush. Sorry, I was getting an update there, but it is not a good update because it gave me no more information. Just trying to get more information on that AJ Brown hammy,
right?
Because that's big news, but I do not have anything else for you guys yet. Apologies. I'll try to keep that up. Latavius Murray with a 6-yard rush there. Still rotating those backs, which is driving me crazy. And unfortunately, I feel like I'm going to mention it more than I should.
And that injury to AJ Brown is going to be a lot more significant than people think, because just because you have Julio there doesn't mean anything at all. The Titans are struggling right now, and they need everything that they can get. And losing AJ Brown, probably their best receiver, is not what you want to see.
Not at all. Not at all. And this hasn't popped up. Or the 8-yard reception by Jonathan Taylor, so he's getting some good work there. And Kareem Hunt with a 12-yard rush. This hasn't popped up on our Gamecast yet. There it is. You got Justin Herbert throwing a 4-yard touchdown to Keenan Allen. It was an interesting toss. He actually jumped up in the air to get over the lineman while throwing the ball. He was that desperate to hit Jackson or to hit Keenan Allen going across the center there, and it paid off. That was a good play. And then their kicker just missed the extra point. I mean, he shanked it wide left. It is a windy day out there, but he shanked the crud out of it there. That was
good news for Keenan Allen owners, though. He hasn't gone a touchdown this year, I don't believe. I know that I have him in one of my leagues, 2 of my leagues, and I absolutely love the guy. He's a receiver that I just like watching play, and I love to have him on my fantasy team because him and Herbert are one of those duos that can consistently produce big numbers, which we kind of have seen so far, but we can expect more from him moving forward.
Yep, I agree. And Trevor Lawrence getting a 20-yard pass to Laviska Shenault, who everyone had high hopes for as well. Trevor Lawrence getting some good passing yards in today against a tough Cardinals defense. So It'd be nice to see him kind of settle in a little bit in his pro career and get that going as well. He's got a lot of weapons. He's got a lot of wide receiver weapons there. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Again, Marvin Jones kind of leading the way, but
Yeah, they've done a great job supporting Trevor Lawrence in his first year. I think, as I mentioned, he's just gonna have to take a few weeks to get into the groove of things. But by next week, by week 5, I think he'll be ready to go, and then we'll see the real Trevor Lawrence that we've all been kind of waiting for.
I mean that's a tall order to be asked to come in
Mhm.
and as a rookie start. Like it's a great. I guess it's great for them on a personal level to be able to come do that. But when you're talking on a professional level, I mean, you see some of your best quarterbacks come from these guys that get to come in, sit for a little bit, learn how to be a pro because it's much different. That's a different life. Just learn how to be a pro, and then learn the pace of the game. I know those windows for your wide receivers become much smaller. You have less time. You have to be more accurate. Um, yeah, so that's a tall order to ask for Trevor Lawrence to come out and just be a star all of a sudden, because pro and college are way different. So good
Mhm.
for him if he starts settling in there a little bit. Just wanted to touch Kenny Galladay just got an 18-yard reception from Daniel Jones, so he may be in for a decent day. He's struggled so far, so
And just wanted to go back to Trevor Lawrence quickly here to come
yeah.
onto a team that won only one game in week 1 last year, and be expected to produce big numbers and help out this team greatly. It's a big space to fill, so I wasn't really expecting him to come out and be a top 5 quarterback in week 1 or week 2, but I think that, again, once he gets that relationship going with his receivers, his running backs, James Robinson, once he fills a little bit more of the workload, I think that offense is going to work much better together.
I agree. I just think it was unfair expectations from a lot of people. I think you just not people like us that just follow stuff really
Mhm.
a lot or anything, but um, I think people just expected maybe getting Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence that like they just expected everything, and it's like you're talking about taking a team that hasn't been relevant maybe ever, and
Yep.
and expecting a championship out of them right off the bat. Like these things take time, and it reminds me a lot, like I said, of the Cardinals a few years
Mhm.
ago when I got Kyler Murray and stuff. Like that sort of thing just takes time, and
Yeah.
so I think set those expectations a little lower, and just give it some time, and I think it'll work itself out. So.
And
Um,
yeah, I mean, look where they are now. Cardinals are looking great this year. And before we go back to that, I just wanted to say Josh Allen here passing to Zach Moss for a 7-yard touchdown. So again, that Bills rushing game getting a lot of work in the pass offense. Josh Allen again producing another touchdown in the first half. So good to see him putting up big numbers, which we've all been waiting for.
yeah, Josh Allen doing Josh Allen things, and that's going to make everyone very happy.
Mhm.
That running back, you still don't know which running back to have there. So, still fantasy wise, avoiding that backfield if I can, because I don't know which one's going to produce every week. But it looks like both are scoring uh, kind of consistently. And we were talking about Trevor Lawrence and growing into the pros, and then he throws an interception to the Cardinals defense. So, so the Cardinals have the ball back now, unfortunately. And they were driving. He threw that on the Arizona 14-yard line. So they were driving to score. And yeah, that didn't work out well. Actually, he threw it on the 7-yard line because it had a 7-yard return. They're now on the Arizona 14. So
Mhm.
down in the red zone, throwing an interception. Disappointing.
Not what you want to see, but again, these things take time, as we just said. So I'm still going to be patient with them.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, I, I like there's nothing else you can say.
Yeah.
There's no question that he's a talented quarterback. It's just that leap from college to the NFL. I think people underestimate how different it is. You hear people
Yes.
say Oh, I mean, can Alabama compete in the NFL? I mean, it's such a different game, and the skill level elevates so much when you come to the NFL. It's really hard to see who's going to play good and who's going to play bad, because you could have somebody who played mediocre in college and truly break out in the NFL.
I mean, that happens all the time, especially you see it at the quarterback position a lot. I mean, you see these quarterbacks come from small schools and just come out and do fantastic in the NFL. And then you see these teams come from big schools and maybe they're Heisman Trophy winners or finalists or something and come in and can't compete in the pros. It's just different. And so it's really hard to tell who's going to be able to do what. And that's why there are people that's their entire careers trying to figure that out. And they're a lot smarter than I am. I'll give you that right now. Now, bad news for Kansas City Chiefs fan. They just fumbled the ball again. That looks to be their third turnover of the game already. And that's going to be a Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumble.
Oh boy!
Right after Travis Kelce had a 17-yard reception, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire was actually getting some good usage, and then had a pretty good little rush there, and just the guy put his helmet right on the ball and just popped it out. So third turnover already, and that's
bad.
Yeah,
that's bad news for the Chiefs. And going to this Colts game here, Nyheim Hines rushing to the left for a 9-yard touchdown. Good for the Colts.
News for Jonathan Taylor.
Just what I wanted to say, because this is the reason why I didn't want to go after Jonathan Taylor this year. Because Nyheim Hines, I think Marlon Mack, Jordan Wilkins, like all these guys are running backs in the offense. And even though JT had a great end to last year, nothing is promised. So, I mean, just not what you want to see if you own Jonathan Taylor at this point.
Yeah, it's exactly why I stayed away from Jonathan Taylor and why I advised others to stay away from Jonathan Taylor, because that timeshare there is it's too much. It's too much because you have such capable running backs. It's not like his backups or the other guys are just there and they're putting in for a change of pace. Like, they are key pieces to that offense as well. Like, Hines has his role, Mac is really good. So Mac was one of the top running backs on the rise there before he got his major injury. So I just didn't trust it. And that right there kind of shows that. Terry McLaurin with a 10-yard reception, by the way. So McLaurin still catching tons of balls, still proving to be valuable there. But yeah, definitely more bad news here. It says Saquon Barkley hobbles off to the sideline, then limps to the bench. So Saquon Barkley, man, that's tough, because I was thinking this might be his game that he comes alive in. It's a great matchup for it, and now he's a little banged up. So hopefully that's all it is a little banged up. I'm rooting for the guy. Honestly, and that's coming from a Cowboys fan. I'm still rooting for Barkley to make his comeback, and that's tough. He's such a talented player, and seems to be just a good person. So I really want him to succeed, and he's just having a hard time getting back in it, which is sad.
Yeah, and I'm actually watching that game now, and I think it was Barkley, but as well, if I saw correctly, I think Sterling Shepard may have also gone off the field with what looked like a little injury. I'm not sure. Yeah, it was Sterling Shepard. He's grabbing his hamstring right now. So we'll see what happens there. Bad news for me, because I personally love Sterling Shepard this week, as I already kind of touched on before.
Oh, yeah, here's my alert there. It says Sterling Shepard is now hurt. He was grabbing his right hamstring. His trainers were checking him out. So already a bad week for injuries. So we've had more production, but also more injuries, like more significant injuries here. Yeah, that's not good. AJ Brown, Sterling Shepard, Barkley. I mean, these are definitely not good.
Yeah, I just want to jump in here to the Bills picking off a ball on the Washington 17. So they're now in the red zone, up 14 already. Singletary's getting work in the rush game. So Again, Washington not looking good at all. The Bills looking to continue to dominate their opponents like they did last week, 35-0, I believe it was, against
I think so.
the Dolphins. So just continuing that dominance against a pretty decent Washington defense.
Yeah, I kind of expect that from the Dolphins, but not necessarily against Washington. So that's very interesting. Mike Williams with a 20-yard reception from Justin Herbert. So I'm thinking a lot of people probably started Mike Williams today. He's been producing, and in a game where you're gonna probably have to throw the ball, he just got another reception here. Not a bad start there at all. But man, this game is interesting. The Chargers are only up 6-0, but they've pretty much dominated this game. So that's saying something for Kansas City that they could be playing so horribly against a decent team and only down 6.
Yeah.
That's pretty good for them.
Now I wanted to go to the Colts game here quickly. I believe Quentin Nelson's 56. And I think he may have just been carted off the field with an injury. So
Jeez.
bad news.
Joe Mixon with a 27-yard rush there. He is getting some good production against that Steelers defense that has been highly touted. Man, another big injury. You never want to see someone carted off. That's bad news.
Quentin Nelson, too, one of those guys who is just so vitally important to a Colts team for that pass protection. I mean, so underrated is the offensive line, and he's one of the best in the league to do it. So you hate to see that happen.
100%. James White with a 6-yard rush. Wow. That's funny. I was reading off James White 6-yard rush right as I got an alert that says James White is down.
Crazy.
So now James White down. And then Josh Allen. Jeez, Pete, man. Just tearing it up.
Another touchdown.
The Knox. Knox gets a 14-yard touchdown reception. That team is just firing on all cylinders right now. If you have Josh Allen, good for you. You are racking up some points. Speaking of points, Austin Eckler with a touchdown reception here. It hasn't popped up yet, but that was probably around 15 yards, 16-yard touchdown reception for him. So that's what we expect from Austin Eckler. That's why I picked him up so many leagues, because that's just what he can do. He's just so quick, and he produces, and he's looking really good. He's looking really healthy. So loving that. That helps me in many leagues, and loving it. So
of course, good. Yeah.
And that Chargers team they're looking really good right now. I mean, against this Kansas City team that most people probably don't give them a chance. And then following that up, they went for 2 points, and Mike Williams with a 2-point reception right there, going up and getting it. That looked like a man amongst boys. My goodness,
he is a beast.
Oh my gosh, he's just big and powerful. Ooh, man. That's something right there. Looks like while I was rattling off some stuff, Cordero Patterson with an 11-yard rush. And probably some other things there. I was just taken aback by that whole series of events there with the Chargers. They were looking good.
Well, I mean, I think, number one, the Chargers have just had a few unlucky, or I guess last week against the Cowboys, a little bit of an unlucky game there. Two really good teams, but I think people are way too quick to knock the Kansas City Chiefs. I still think that they're a top 2 team in the league right now. Just an unfortunate fumble by Clyde last week, and they had the game in the bag against the Ravens. Just it didn't fall their way. I still think that they're a Super Bowl contender, though, no doubt. I mean, I haven't really thought otherwise as of late.
I agree. I'm trying to think, or I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Looks like they've moved on in that Patriots game, and I haven't really seen any update on that. Mark Andrews with a 21-yard reception. Man, there's just so many injuries today.
Seems like that's been happening a lot so far. I mean, Dalvin already coming out of people's lineups because he is out for today's game. So not what you want to see from him so early because we know that he is slightly injury prone.
Yep.
And I believe there were a few others not ringing a bell at the moment, but I know that there were a few guys who have gone out that you just do not want to see whatsoever.
Not at all. Calvin Ridley with a 20-yard reception there. He's getting some better work today. He started off pretty strong week 1 with 3 quick receptions and then just kind of fell off the face of the earth for the rest of that game. Last week was kind of quiet, so he's getting some little bit better production today and a better matchup, which helps quite a bit. But definitely a player we expected to see more out of this year than he has produced so far. So be nice to get him going there as well. Everything else just kind of moving slowly right now, looks like. So might hop over here and just see some scoring leaders. So if you see anything else happen there on that fantasy cast, you just let me know. Looks like right now your top running back PPR scoring, of course, is Zach Moss with 14.1. Then you have Alvin Kamara with 13 points, then Austin Eckler with 12.6, and then Nyheim Hines at 9.4, and Derrick Henry 6.2, Kareem Hunt 5.4. So there's quite a significant drop there. Cordero Patterson is in the top 10 with 5.2, above Saquon Barkley with 5.1. But yeah, it's interesting. Jonathan Taylor's all the way down at 9. He's got 4.4 to Nyheim Hines 9.4. So again, that's why I'm staying away from that backfield. I'm going to hop over to wide receivers and see what we got going on. Emmanuel Sanders still leading the way with 13.8. Tyler Boyd 10.4. Keenan Allen up to 10 points. Immediately behind him is Mike Williams with 8.9. So they're just getting it done. The Chargers are getting it done there.
And the good thing about that offense is that Herbert's good enough to have 2 top 20 receivers. I mean, we've seen Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. Both those guys are reliable so far through 3 weeks. So I expect that to continue through the rest of the season if Herbert keeps it up.
Absolutely. Herbert is the number 2 quarterback right now, 15.38 points. Josh Allen leading the way with 18.26 so far here in the first half, which is fantastic for him since he's been struggling a little bit. So in order, it goes Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray with 9.98, Daniel Jones with 8.62, Jameis Winston with 7.62, and then Tannehill with 6.54.
And I wanted to jump in there. Just as you mentioned Tannehill, he actually threw a touchdown pass to and Westbrook. I actually haven't heard that name before, but it was for 18 yards. So they go up 14-7 over the Colts here. So again, Tannehill to another no-name receiver, but good for Tannehill owners because he needs to get that confidence back that he's obviously lost a little through these first 3 weeks.
Yeah, so that's Nick Westbrook Akine. That puts him at the number 2 wide receiver of the day with 10.7, which is interesting.
Really?
That's really strange. He has 2 receptions on 2 targets for 27 yards and a touchdown. So that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know who that is. Never heard of him.
No, and I don't expect him to have been rostered by anybody.
Doubt it. I'm guessing he's only getting playing time because A.J. Brown is down. But hopefully, again, we can get some updates on that and see what that's actually looking like. Because I'm not sure that A.J. Brown, that'll hurt a lot of people in a lot of leagues.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I'm reading here Bills 21, Washington 7. If I may have, yes, I actually did miss. Pardon me, guys. Heineke to Gibson for a 73-yard touchdown a few
Wow.
minutes ago, which I missed because the Tannehill touchdown came in right after that. But wow, Gibson owners must be ecstatic right now.
Wow,
Uh,
no kidding. What a huge play.
yeah,
That's what we've been waiting for Antonio Gibson
yeah,
as well.
exactly.
That's the kind of stuff you expect. Now, um, or maybe even better than expected. But the only downside to that is if you've been trying to trade for Gibson, people already won't trade him away because they have so much stock in him. Of they draft him so high. It was already hard to get him. Now you will not get
No,
him because that's why people draft him high right there. And if he's going to produce like that, even if it's just this one time for now, then
yeah,
uh, his trade value just went way up. So he
yeah.
will not be
After
able to
that,
trade for it now. I
not
tried
gonna
in a couple
happen.
leagues and people still weren't moving him. Even in leagues where people needed running back help, and were
Mm.
actually sitting Gibson on their bench this week. They still wouldn't trade him away because they drafted him that high.
Crazy.
So,
Yeah.
um,
I think I'm in the same boat as those guys. If I'm owning Gibson right now, or if I was last week, I wasn't looking to shop him around because he's still really, really good. I was just waiting for that breakout moment, which obviously just
this guy,
happened now.
yep,
Looking at the games right now, there's a few games that I didn't even know were going on. Bears Browns, we've heard virtually nothing from all day, and Ravens Lions, both those games have stayed fairly quiet. Um, no big scores other than field goals in both of those games. So we'll see how they progress heading into halftime now. Ravens and Lions still got a good chunk of time before the end of that second quarter, though.
Najee Harris just got a 20-yard rush, and DeAndre Hopkins had a 29-yard reception. Hopkins with a couple of big catches today. He got a 14-yard rush by DeAndre Swift. So those guys are still rotating in and out. And Austin Eckler with a 5-yard reception. And in PPR, he's gotten quite a few receptions today, just racking up some easy points. So love to see that. Um, he just got another reception for probably closer to 10 yards. And little Austin Eckler tried hurdling the defender, and that did not work out well. He got upended by that defender, and another defender came in and cleaned him up. So, yeah, that did not work. He ended up kneeing the guy right in the face mask because that was a 12-yard reception there, but that was quite humorous.
I
Uh,
can only,
that
I can
was
only imagine. I think the guy's only like what 5'8", 5'9". Like him trying to
he's
get
small.
over.
Small
I don't.
guy. Um, luckily, what's fun about him, and we've had him in a couple interviews on the Fantasy Football Network,
Mhm.
because Jay the Plug has interviewed him a couple of times and is in contact with Eckler because of Pace League. If you haven't checked out Pace League, it's fantasy football for charity, and so go check that out. Austin Eckler's in that league. Austin Eckler, a huge fantasy football fan. I mean, he talks fantasy
Mhm.
football all the time. He's got a jersey giveaway going this year. If you have him on your team and you win that week, then you can enter into the contest to win those signed jerseys. So big into fantasy football, supports it, and also plays for charity. So great guy. And he said bet on him this year. So I did. I bet on him this year, and not having a bad year at all, having a great game today. He just got another reception for 7 yards. So if Herbert looks at him here, he could have had another one. Like, it's just insane how open he is all the time.
Now I just wanted to jump in here. We had a question: is Hawkinson playing? I'm not
Yes.
100% sure. I
Hawkinson is
believe he
playing.
was.
I saw him pop up a couple minutes ago with a 5-yard reception. He is playing, but he's getting little to no usage right now. But that Lions offense isn't being productive. So he is playing, just not producing. I have him in a league, and he has that one reception for 5 yards, and I think that came on this drive that they're currently on, and about to punt. So he's just not getting any production. Logan Thomas just got a 14-yard reception, and I just got an update on Saquon Barkley. It says Barkley is coming back in with the offense. No need to panic. So
Good.
So that's good. But yeah, Hawkinson just getting little to no usage right now, which is sad for Hawkinson owners. But I'm guessing that changes, and he ends up producing today. So also see Laviska Shenault with a 7-yard reception down there. Saquon Barkley is back on the field. He just had a 4-yard rush, so that is good. If you have Aldrick Rosas, I don't know how you say his name, the kicker for the Saints, he just missed a 36-yard field goal wide left. So a couple kickers struggling today, as usual at this point, right? So,
Keenan Allen here, 30-yard reception, I believe is what I'm seeing from Herbert. It looks like that's popping up.
Yeah, but it came back on a penalty, it looks like. So I don't think that counts, because now they are punting the ball. So, yeah, there was a flag on that, so that doesn't count. I don't know why they put it up here. If it doesn't count, they shouldn't put it up on the game.
Right.
Yeah. Get all excited.
I just wanted to go here. Washington, Taylor Heineke with a scramble for a 4-yard touchdown. So assuming they get this extra point, they just did. So it's 21-14 Bills. So they bring it real close in a short amount of time here. Just a few minutes ago, it was 21-0 Bills.
Yeah, and from a fantasy perspective, that's actually really good for McLaurin owners, for Gibson owners, or not even just for them. I meant, sorry, I went the wrong way there. I meant that's good for Josh Allen owners, because you don't want them to slow down and start running the ball a lot to waste some time. That's good for Josh Allen owners, because that means he'll keep producing. They have to keep the foot on the gas pedal. So that's actually something you want to see. Yeah, for sure. And saw Laviska Shenault just got another reception for only about 9 yards, but hey, that in PPR you're getting receptions, you're getting points. So the yards matter, but not as much. And then Jacoby Myers with a 17-yard reception. Not sure if anyone's into starting him yet. Depends on how deep your league is. I suppose you might be starting Jacoby Myers, but a 17-yard reception there. Kind of surprised that's as low scoring game as it is, that Saints Patriots. Coming up with 3.5 minutes left in the first half, and still 7-0 for the Saints. There's a couple like that. There's a couple low scoring games today, actually, quite a few. There's really the only high scoring game I would say is that Bills Washington, and then that Chargers Chiefs being 14-0. But as compared to last week's production, I feel like we're still ahead of the game on that.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel more fulfilled this week. Players are actually performing. But as we mentioned, a few low-scoring games here. Again, the Browns and Bears, just nothing coming out of there. And the Ravens-Lions, we saw a lot of Jamal Williams action in those first few minutes of the first quarter. But other than that, I've seen absolutely nothing from there other than a few Mark Andrews receptions.
Yeah, that's really surprising too, honestly. I mean, I figured that Ravens running game would just be going off today, and just there hasn't been. But again, is that because of the rotation? I mean, how are you supposed to get a hot hand, That, and Lamar Jackson, I would expect more rushing even out of him. At least he's in there consistently. So that's interesting, because that Lions team has been struggling hard, and going against a team like the Ravens and that offense, I would have expected a lot more. And there's out of the Titans Colts game, a 14-yard reception by Derrick Henry. Just going back to like we were talking about earlier with Derrick Henry being more involved with the passing game this year. 14-yard reception, rare, but really nice to have for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, I completely agree with you there. Nothing we would expect, but if he's going to continue to get those types of receptions, that means really good stuff is to come for his fantasy value.
Absolutely. Yep. Just looking at some of my own matchups, and everything is pretty close, within 5 points still on most of these matchups. So
And
it's
it looks like Alvin Kamara may have just gotten another touchdown. It hasn't come through yet, but I see, or it may actually have been a interception, a pick six. We'll see what comes through here. I'm just getting notified that Saints are up
it
13 nothing.
looks like the Saints. Mac Jones pass intercepted the PJ Williams interception return for a touchdown. So it looks like a defensive
Mm,
touchdown there for the Saints. So a little gift from Mac Jones uh,
right.
there. It also we got a Ben Roethlisberger 4-yard touchdown pass to Pat Fryermuth. So um, yeah, that's interesting. Fryermuth getting some work there. We saw some of that in the preseason. Didn't know how sold I was on it,
Mhm.
but for a rookie who I think most people expected him to have one slow year and then maybe next year be more of his year. Um, Getting some early work in his career, which is good.
Now, something interesting to keep your eyes out here. Chiefs still 0 points on the board, and they're at the 2 minute warning in the second quarter right now. So, something you're not used to seeing from Patty Mahomes in that dynamic offense.
Absolutely, yeah, that's very strange. They're struggling. Like I said, they've had 3 turnovers already, 2 fumbles, and a interception. The interception coming in the red zone. So, and their second fumble while they were driving, they may have been down by the red zone. So, um, yeah, really, really tough go there for them. I would be curious to see how they come out second half. Um, See if they come out firing there, because Patrick Mahomes was not happy on the sideline. He was given a talking to his offense. So
Hmm.
um, yeah, that's going to be an interesting second half there, to see how the Chiefs answer, or to see if they even answer here before halftime. But not
Which
what
they
we
easily
expect.
could. I mean, we saw, I think,
Easily.
last week, just giving the Chiefs way too much time, and you don't want to claim the game is yours until it's over, especially against Patrick Mahomes, because he can do you so dirty within like 3 minutes. He'll put up 14 points. So,
It so easily, so easily. Kareem Hunt with a 17-yard reception, and Marquise Brown with a 37-yard reception. He seems to be the go-to wide receiver in that offense this year. Kind of doing what people, I think, expected from Hollywood Brown when he
mhm.
uh, when he got drafted there. Kind of what we expected last year. That didn't necessarily materialize. Looks like it's coming through this year. A couple of Oklahoma players, with him and Mark Andrews being the go-to guys there in that
Mm.
offense. So
Marvin Jones again here looks like he's getting work, 13-yard reception. So they enter the red zone as well. Baltimore in the red zone at the moment.
and the
Uh,
Falcons are almost in the red zone. They just got a 12-yard
mhm.
reception to Mike Davis, and they're down on the 29-yard line, pushing to score before halftime as well. This hasn't come through yet, but Travis Kelce looking like a man, just reaching over the defender and snagging a ball down the sideline there. Just another beast of a player that you can rely on for production. Just incredible. Let's see. It said Mike Davis got that. Derrick Henry with a 5-yard rush, and Austin Hooper from Baker Mayfield for a 6-yard reception there. So it looks like Kansas City's moving the ball here. I think they'll definitely get some points before halftime. It says they're showing a stat here: shutout one time under Patrick Mahomes in the first half, and that was in the 2018 AFC Championship against New England. It's the only time he's
Crazy.
ever been shut out in the first half. So, and he's 10-7 record when trailing by 10 plus points. So don't count him out yet. He's got a winning record when trailing by over 10 points. So never comfortable against Patrick Mahomes.
Mhm.
And he's showing why here, because he's moving the ball down the field with this offense pretty quick.
And it looks like the Falcons finally enter the red zone here as well. So that's something to watch for. Hopefully, they can finally put some points on the board. Matty Ice looks like he's moving the ball pretty well against the Giants defense that has been causing them a little problem in this first half. DJ Chark getting some good points. And looks like Trevor Lawrence actually passed the Chark for a 12-yard touchdown just now.
Nice.
So that will put the Jags up on the board. Good for T-Law. Get some points in there as well. As the Cardinals kind of upsetting right now. It's 7-7 against a Jacksonville team that has not looked good so far this year. So maybe there could be an upset there. I personally thought that the Jags could maybe upset this week against the Cardinals just because, I mean, last week the Cardinals against the Vikings, the defense didn't look all amazing like they did against the Titans in week 1.
I agree with that. I still expected them to handle the Jags pretty well today, if I'm being honest. Kyle, welcome into the stream, man.
What's good, fellas?
Production overall is good today.
Yeah,
we're getting more scores, more significant plays. So,
talking about action, Lamar Jackson actually passing to Devin Duvernay here for a 19-yard touchdown. So, again, good to see these big names showing up big.
Yeah, for real. Eckler had a touchdown. Kamara has a touchdown. Tyler Boyd, like we're seeing some good names for a change.
We just got a touchdown pass from Lamar Jackson to Duvernay for 19 yards. So they get another score in here before halftime to go up 10-0 on the Lions.
Keenan Allen. Man, there's been some good ones. Keenan Allen, Zach Moss again. Jonathan Taylor owners are ticked because Nyheim Hines got a touchdown, but
yeah, exactly.
Dawson Knox actually scoring for the second week in a row for Buffalo is interesting. Looks like because like last year they didn't use him at all. I'll tell you one I'm happy to see. That's Antonio Gibson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
73-yard reception from Taylor Heineke. So, man, finally putting in some good value for fantasy owners right there.
Yeah. So I did see earlier, I guess, A.J. Brown went out. I don't know if he's made it back in at all yet or not, but.
No, not from what I've been able to tell. He's still out. So haven't been able to look up anything.
There's Jamar Chase, too. So Cincinnati spread the ball around, getting everybody involved today.
Yeah, they're actually getting some movement, which is really surprising, honestly.
Yeah, I thought they wouldn't be able to move the ball that easy against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so Chase for a TD, and then Matt Ryan throwing a 4-yard touchdown pass here as well. So
Zacchaeus, I get it. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, I wasn't even gonna attempt to pronounce that name right there. I wasn't.
Yeah, that's rough. Now
that name is not in the Canadian vocabulary.
No, the only words we deal with is maple syrup and A. So
and hockey
like that
right
now. Yeah.
Maple syrup and hockey.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. Now Josh Allen with a big pass to Emmanuel Sanders. I believe it was 41 yards. So they're down on the Washington 10-yard line. Maybe get another score before halftime.
Emmanuel Sanders getting a ton of work today.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, and I'm loving the Josh Allen points today. He's been killing me.
Yeah, Emmanuel Sanders leading the way with 18.9 points today. He is just racking them up.
I also have to say, Marquez Callaway lives.
He does.
Scored a touchdown for 7 yards from Jameis Winston. I love that. I hung on to him in, I think, every league but one that has – and I think it was our family league that has like 8 teams and 4 rosters. I was just like, eh.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, we were talking about him, Corey there, and finally, he's producing in Baker Mayfield here too with an Austin Hooper 13-yard touchdown. So touchdowns rolling in here nearing halftime.
Yeah. Hooper's been pretty involved the last couple weeks. So
Yeah, he has. Someone that I kind of overlooked because they've never really used their tight ends there that much. But
and they still got Njoku too. So it's like,
well, they've been to only one real main wide receiver. When they have Landry and Odell Beckham, those tight ends don't get used as much. But now that they've kind of switched back and forth, they only had one at a time. Those tight ends are getting some usage. Also,
one thing I haven't done is look at if Beckham's had any catches today, though.
He has.
He has. Yeah, he had a few, or maybe just
early
one.
on. Early on, he had. He's
2 for 20.
2 for 4. He's got 5 fantasy points right now.
Yeah, he's 2 catches on 4 targets for 20 yards, and then he had a carry for 10 yards. So not a ton of work, but it's good to see him in the game anyways.
For me, the surprising thing is these Cincinnati wide receivers. Jamar Chase sitting at number 2 overall, and Tyler Boyd at number 3, 12.9 points and 12.1 respectively. They're actually putting up some points, and I did not actually see that coming.
No.
And it looks like the Chiefs didn't get shut out at halftime here. They put up a field goal, so that Mahomes record still stands with that only game getting shut out at halftime was the 2018 AFC Conference Championship game, was it?
Yeah. Yep. Against New England.
Crazy.
I'm surprised at how that Chargers-Chiefs game's going, truthfully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Me too. I've kind of been watching it, and Chargers look like they're just manhandling the Chiefs at the moment.
And I think you were talking about this when I first jumped on too, but the Cardinals not doing well against the Jags right now either.
Yeah, that's really
I mean, the Jags actually up 13-7. I'm not sure if we missed a touchdown there, but
it hasn't come through yet to tell us what that touchdown is.
I mean, it says that they're on the 50-yard line, so
yeah, I'm not sure what's going on exactly there. It does show a 13-7, but we didn't miss anything.
No, Chark had a touchdown, and then I think it might just be a pair of field goals on top of that.
No,
Arizona had a rushing touchdown.
I think that's right. I think it was 7-6, and they scored that Chark touchdown.
Yeah, Kyler Murray had a touchdown. Chark had a touchdown, and I think they had a pair of field goals.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
I'm watching the Jags game right now, actually, and there was a celebration. I didn't quite see Agnew. I don't know. I believe he's on defense, actually.
Yeah, keep us updated on that because that's interesting. Not sure what's going on there, if I missed something or what. There's a pass to Saquon Barkley for no gain, but hey, in a PPR league, you got a point out of it.
All right, so what happened in the Jags game, I believe, was it was a missed field goal, and they returned it 100 yards for a touchdown.
Oh, okay.
So something you don't regularly see.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I guess that's why it wouldn't have popped up on the fantasy cast there. It doesn't look like they're reporting the defensive touchdowns, but right at halftime, 0 seconds left. So,
wow.
Again, unfortunate for the Cardinals. Go down by 6 against the Jags team that has struggled quite a bit.
That's crazy. Yep. I mean, good for them, but I hate to see that for the Cardinals. If that's talk about an upset. If people are playing a pick'em or an eliminator challenge or something, that should have been your easy pick of the week, probably right there. And
for sure,
not being the case. Evan Ingram getting a 14-yard reception from Daniel Jones there. Jacoby Myers with a 7-yard reception. Rodrigo Blankenship kicks a 43-yard field goal to make that 14-10 for the Titans. And now that's at halftime as well. A lot of these games going into halftime there, all kind of on pace together this week.
And it looks like Evan Ingram may have actually fumbled the ball from what I'm seeing right here. I think the Falcons D actually stripped it from him. We'll see if that call stands, but if it does, the Falcons will maintain possession
with good
And
field position.
yes,
Because they'll be
exactly.
down within Giants territory for another scoring opportunity because there's a minute and a half left there. So they'll have a good chance to score again before halftime. Nothing else
Right.
than a field goal, but yeah, that could hurt the Giants there. That Falcons Giants game, someone expected to be like a little bit more higher scoring game because both have weak defenses and decent offenses, and neither really producing at a 7-6 game right now.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, actually, for everybody wanting big numbers out of those players,
Both
including
teams,
myself.
yeah, both teams are desperate for the win, but they haven't done too much today, to be honest. Barkley again, vacant, hasn't impressed whatsoever.
Yeah, it's been kind of one of those days where some of these are just disappointing. Cardinals have been disappointing. The Steelers have been a little disappointing. Giants, Falcons, both disappointing. The Chiefs, majorly disappointing people in this Lions offense. If you make the the Bears only have 3 points, which is kind of surprising. I know I have Allen Robinson in a league or two, and pretty much producing nothing. So some of these players really surprising and not producing much of anything. So
And the Bills putting up more points. Tyler Bass with a 21-yard field goal, so they go up 24-14 against the football team.
It looks like in that Bears-Browns game, it looks like the Browns are just running the ball and keeping the ball the whole time. Chubb has 11 carries. Hunt has 3, Baker 2, Beckham 1. Looks like they're just killing clock. I mean, the Bears, Justin Fields is 3 of 4 for 29 yards.
wow, I was gonna say Allen Robinson is 1 for 1 for 9 yards. I mean,
Kmet, Robinson, and Mooney each have 1 catch. Montgomery has 7 carries. Fields has 1 carry. That sounds like they've had the ball 2 times the entire half.
Yeah.
what it looks like.
Like, that is that's great possession football from the Browns for sure. If like keeping Fields off of the field.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's just not very many plays
at all.
No, which it's unfortunate too because today was Fields' first regular season start. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe
And
the
he can't get
Browns
the
are
ball.
right. Maybe the Browns are trying to do something special there. I don't know what's going on.
Little old school Big Ten football there.
Bet their
Right.
defense is tired though.
Oh yeah.
Trying to stop Chubb all day. I bet they're exhausted.
Oh, I bet so. Yeah, getting some chunk yards. I've seen Kareem Hunt getting some chunk yards in there. So
Finally got that other Jacksonville touchdown up on the fantasy cast now.
yeah, I just watched that on a replay here, and that was
Yeah, it was
pretty
crazy.
impressive. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, of course. Well, with all the games going to halftime now, I think I'm going to have to hop off if that's all good with you guys. But again,
no
thank you
doubt,
guys
man.
for having me on today.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on here for a little bit and helping cover some of the games. It's always a good time.
Yeah,
Plus,
anytime, guys.
bonus, it let me eat lunch before I had to get on. So,
Of course, yeah, that was my plan the whole time. I was
you're playing
making
the whole
sure
time, right? No.
Yeah, of
Kyle
course.
has hired you to cover so that he can have lunch. I love that.
Yep.
Definitely. Yeah, well, we'll speak soon, and hopefully you guys have a good rest of the day.
Sounds
You
good.
too, man. Appreciate
All
you.
right. See ya.
Bye, buddy.
See you.
Alrighty, Kyle. With it being halftime, I'm actually going to go grab a little bite to eat. If you want to recap some stats or something from some of these.
Well, I mean, we can just go ahead and take I'm going to be on here the rest of the day. So if you want to go ahead and just do a halftime break, and then we can come back and I'll do a lot of recapping this afternoon because I'll be flying solo once again.
Yep.
So I'll have some airtime to fill because I'll have 1, 2, 4 games again. So there'll be some dead zones. I'll have plenty of time for recap. So
sounds like a plan. We'll go to halftime and be back soon. All right, guys, coming back here for the second half here. Sorry about that. Had to grab some lunch really quick. Let me jump on here. Let me change this back. Looks like Kyle's also ready to go. And down some lunch. So we are back.
I was on mute and forgot. So you got your bite to eat, huh?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's been going for quite some time now. We've missed some plays. Bills were able to get another field goal before halftime. It's like the Cardinals threw an interception there, so not a great game from Kyler Murray today. Also been a lot of other stuff going on. Sorry that we missed the Tyreek Hill getting some action there. And now it's looking like the Saints have scored again, but I'm not seeing it. Maybe? Am I wrong here?
What's funny is you mentioned Kyler Murray. Like, the leagues that I have him in, he's been killing it, and everybody else has sucked. And then this week, he's not getting anything, and my other guys are getting back with it.
Yeah, it's weird. The Browns just kicked a field goal, and I got an alert that A.J. Brown is out for the rest of the game, so screwing over all of his fantasy owners with an injury there. I think I got 0.3 points out of him because he had one rush. So, that's going to probably lose me quite a few leagues, honestly.
So, basically, what happened is Josh in our pregame show earlier playing Mike Williams over A.J. Brown is going to work out. We were giving him a hard time about it, but that's going to work out. Amari Cooper's TBD, but
because logically that makes zero sense. But
yeah,
I'm going to call that lucky. Either that, or he has a crystal ball, and he needs to be on the show. So
he needs to share with the class.
No kidding. Did you bring enough for the whole class? That's my question. So Josh Allen having a day though, so that's good for him.
Yeah, I'm so glad, dude.
And now Kansas City is driving. Clyde Edwards-Helaire getting quite a bit of usage, but it's not necessarily adding up to big fantasy points. I mean, he's at 5.2. His fumble earlier didn't help anything.
A fumble hurt.
Points there, and that's something he just can't afford to do because he's not putting up fantasy points. And so a fumble hurts him more than most because he's not able to make up for it. And because he's just not getting these scores or anything either, like other running backs are. So that's making him struggle a little bit. Jonathan Taylor getting a few carries in at the beginning of the half. So, yeah, they're using Clyde Edwards-Helaire a lot. It's just not producing many fantasy points.
So I also just saw this. Sterling Shepard has exited the game with a hamstring injury. Darius Slayton had earlier in the game.
Sterling Shepard did that. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I just saw it, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's crushing because so many people were starting these Giants receivers with Galladay supposed to be limited and a great matchup, and now gone. I'm also thinking we probably should have started Chester Rogers in our Grow Your Page league because he had a touchdown earlier and stuff.
Yeah, it's.
I'm glad I picked him up at least.
Yeah, at least there's that. Patrick Mahomes scoring a touchdown here, throwing it to Fortson, something like that.
I have no idea who Jody Fortson is.
Fortson. So that's interesting. Also, my fantasy cast here, the scores are not popping up at the top. It's kind of frozen on that Jaguars 109-yard return. I have to actually go back to see this, so it's not in order.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yep.
Yeah, there's Cooper. There's the Mac Jones interception for a touchdown. And then, Patrick Mahomes TD. And then that field goal return for touchdown is still the most recent. It's weird.
So that play broke everything.
Yeah,
So
it broke everything on the system.
And so going back to another player that we were talking pregame about, David Montgomery, 2-yard rush, seeing little to no work today as well. I mean, that Bears offense is just doing nothing.
They just haven't had the ball. Yeah, they just haven't had the ball. I mean, it is what it is. You get 8 plays on the game. You're not going to be able to do much with that, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Who was it that people were trying to decide whether to play Daniel Jones or who? I can't remember. Daniel Jones came up in a lot of conversations this week. Oh, it was Matt Stafford or Daniel Jones. Told everyone Matt Stafford over Daniel Jones in that, but people were arguing for Daniel Jones this week, and right now we're showing exactly why that was what I kept calling fool's gold, guys.
Well, I know when we were doing snoozers or losers this week, I know Tony was big on Jones.
Yeah, I will never put trust in Jones, and we're seeing why right here. So
he's just too inconsistent.
The production just isn't there.
He'll have a big game every once in a while, but he's just so inconsistent.
Yeah. No, that Ravens backfield has been an annoyance all day. Just rotating players like running backs. Just almost every play they have a different running back in. There's no consistency. It's like they're purposely trolling fantasy.
Some coaches I feel like do that. I know Belichick does for sure.
Usually drives, but not every play. But Tyson Williams or Tyson, what's his name? Tyson or Tyson?
Tyson.
He has 1 carry today for 2 yards, and it was
I was just pulling up that breakdown. So Jackson is actually the leading rusher with 6 carries, and then Murray has 5, Freeman with 2, and Williams with 1. Devontae Freeman having 1 more carry than Tyson Williams is shocking.
Yes, because Williams, I know many people saying start Williams this week. He's been the best running back in that system so far. And they're playing against the Lions, who is the weakest run defense in the league. They're torn apart.
Yeah.
And they've given him 1 carry. Like, how did he all of a sudden end up in the doghouse? It blows my mind.
I don't know. Like, I think they really like Latavius Murray, but still, like...
Well, he's only got, 5 carries?
He's only got 5 carries, but I understand maybe splitting between him and Tyson, but why is Devontae Freeman touching the football?
It makes no sense. And literally earlier, it was funny. We were watching, and it was 1 series, and it went Murray, Williams, Freeman, back-to-back plays, bam, 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 punt. And they're literally rotating these running backs pretty much every play. Oh, there you go. Nice Williams with rush for no gain. And if they're wanting to ride a hot hand, how is anyone supposed to get any sort of rhythm going?
You can't.
They can't get more than 1 rush at a time.
You can't. And I kind of thought it was going to work out that way in San Francisco too until all their guys got hurt. But we've seen in the past, and I've noticed this in years past too, is like once they kind of teams that like to rotate, once they start sticking with a guy for an extended amount of time, you can see them start building that rhythm and kind of getting in a flow. And it's hard to do that when you're rotating in and out on every play or even every series. If you rotate every single series, you have 2 or 3 carries, and then it's the next guy up in the next series. And that's just
a series, though, is one thing, but every play is another. I mean,
they feel tough, though. Because, it's just running back is a very, I don't know, you almost have to kind of
get a rhythm,
find that rhythm as you go. You know, it's a different kind of deal. And these coaches that don't let a guy get a rhythm.
There's Cordero Patterson with a 12-yard reception and Najee Harris with a 6-yard rush, I believe that's it. But no, I feel like it's some sort of level of desperation from that coaching staff with not knowing who their running back is at the moment. And it feels like desperation. They're just desperate to find who's gonna get it. And it's like me and Johnny were talking about earlier. right now, it's just whoever happens to be in on the play that the offensive line blocks the best. That's all it is, because if you're rotating in every play, just like when does your offensive line get that right block that lets that runner get a good run, and that's who now your hot hand running back is? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So
Yeah, you're right. They don't necessarily know who they want their starting running back to be, but also I could see them being a little tentative and wanting to keep them healthy after losing so many, and spread that workload because of that as well.
yeah, but you're screwing up your offense. That offense is being non-productive right now against a weak Lions team.
Yeah.
Also, coming down here, the Cardinals have reached the red zone, but it looks like they're now 4th and 3. So they might get a field goal out of that.
My fantasy cast is struggling, man. Like it's updating very slowly, and some of them aren't updating at all. Like I have to keep refreshing. It's kind of a pain.
Marquez Callaway with a 10-yard reception.
So I hope that doesn't keep up.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to refresh mine too and see if I can't get that 109-yard kick return off of my screen.
No, it's not.
It's just stuck.
It's just stuck.
Also,
I've refreshed 3 times since that happened, and it's still the last one showing.
I made a good call by not starting Kwity Paye as a defensive lineman today in an IDP league of mine because he is out with a hamstring injury, and I almost started him because JPP was out and Kwity Paye was my backup. Luckily, I went and picked someone else up instead. Just an update: James White is ruled out with his hip injury. So Ramaje Stevenson was inactive. Yeah. So J.J. Taylor and Brandon Bolden are taking over as the backups there. So
that's crazy. And we actually suggested someone use James White in DFS on our pregame show. That's so important.
We suggested everyone use A.J. Brown. We injuries you just can't see coming. I mean, when Mostert got hurt, I had told people to start Mostert that week, and then he got hurt. Too many injuries, and there's no way for us to know. I mean, we just play matchup stuff. We don't know that injuries are coming, so people can't hold us accountable for that.
I feel like we kind of jinx it sometimes, though, you know?
Man, I'm telling you, it seems like everyone we suggest ends up.
You can't help but feel like you're jinxed sometimes.
That's what I was telling Johnny earlier. It seems like every time I go pick somebody up or trade for somebody, they get hurt almost immediately after. So it does feel like I kind of have this injury bug that follows me. So my bad on that. There's not much going on at the moment. Lots of punting. Lots of punting across the board.
Punts and kickoffs right now, yeah.
Matt Prater did make that field goal for the Cardinals, so that's now 13-10 in favor of the Jags, which is still super surprising to me. I thought the Cardinals were going to come out and handle them quite well today. So that's tough. So, right now, Kyle, in Roll Tide, having a day here with A.J. Brown being out with 0.3 points and Tyson Williams having 0.2 points on his 2 carries.
On that struggle bus.
Very much a struggle bus. Rondale Moore disappointing people today. He has 0.8 points. He has 1 reception for -2 yards. Oof. So Rondale Moore not getting usage today, even when DeAndre Hopkins maybe not 100%, so that's tough.
I do want to point out, because I see in the chat, like way earlier, Jim E asked if Hawkinson is playing. I can't confirm because he just caught a 5-yard pass finally.
Yeah, it's his second 5-yard pass. Yeah.
He is still playing.
Yeah, he had that 5-yard pass earlier and then that one. So Cole Beasley getting some receptions today. No scores, but I've seen a lot of 10, 15-yard receptions out of him today. Diggs with another 9-yard reception. It's been an interesting, almost non-productive day for a lot of players.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire having his best day in a while.
Yeah, and it's still not producing.
It's not fantastic, but 13 carries for 80 yards. I mean, that's easily his best day of the season so far. I mean,
yeah.
Barkley just caught a 20-yard pass.
And it's been a good day watching this Chargers game. Again, it's a 4-point game, but Chargers have dominated this, and that's scary when you think about the Chiefs are having such a bad day and still only 4 points behind. But they just attempted a flea flicker, and the Chargers shut it down really quick.
I was looking at the Clyde Edwards-Helaire stats, and I missed what you said while I was doing that. Did you mention the Chase?
No, I did not.
Jamar Chase catching a 9-yard touchdown from Burrow. So he has 2 on the day now. Chase does.
Yeah. And I don't think many people were looking at necessarily playing him today either.
Everybody was kind of staying away from that matchup against Pittsburgh, and they're destroying them right now. Like, they're making them look silly, and I didn't see that coming.
Yep. Some interesting stuff. Definitely right now, Chargers leading the Chiefs, Bengals over the Steelers, Jags over the Cardinals. Some surprising outcomes going on right now. So
I thought the Patriots would stick closer to the Saints.
Yeah, 21-3 is interesting there. I'm mad at Fantasy Cast right now. We're gonna have to pay super close attention to these scores because that is frozen up there.
My play-by-play is at least updating again now, but I have to keep going back and checking for new touchdowns because that one is stuck.
Yep. There's a big catch, 23 yards for Travis Kelce. I know I haven't said his name a lot today, but he's been quietly, very sneakily productive.
18 yards for Allen Robinson.
That's good. Allen Robinson not getting much production today. That's only his second catch, I think. So
Ryan Tannehill with a 28-yard rush.
Just for second wave of games, I know everyone probably knows this, but Darrell Henderson definitely inactive, and Dalvin Cook also inactive. So
those are heartbreakers. Those are heartbreakers. Luckily, I was able to get Madison in the one I got Cook in, and then I had other options in I think I have 2 leagues with Henderson, and I had other options. So, but it's still, they're not as good. Obviously, I want to start those guys.
Just so you know, 13 yards Stefon Diggs, James Robinson with a 10-yard rush and a 14-yard pass completion to DeAndre Swift for all those owners. 27 yards to Jacoby Myers. Saquon Barkley with a 7-yard rush. So
all of a sudden, we're getting a little action here.
Yep.
We sat on kickoffs and punts for a while, and now all of a sudden everybody's moving the ball. So that's
getting a little production there.
Singletary with an 8-yard run.
Oh wow!
Man,
guys,
a little bit of allergies going on. You got my throat a little scratchy today.
Right now, everything is okay. Man, things are they're rough for the Chiefs right now. Things are just rough. Looks like they're going to retain the ball here, but Patrick Mahomes scrambling, got a good run, and lost the ball at the end, but looks like he ended up recovering very luckily. So
looks like
they'll be down on the 2-yard line. Oh, no, that's coming back on illegal hands to the face. So they keep the ball, but they lose yards.
Oof. That's tough.
Tannehill with 13-yard pass to Cameron Batson, 19-yard pass to DeAndre Swift, racking up some receptions there. He's getting some points all the time. James Robinson with a 21-yard rush. James Robinson is alive. He is being productive against the Cards defense that I thought was going to be really tough for him to get any production against. I thought he was going to be pretty much non-existent again today, but hasn't put up huge fantasy points, but it's promising. It's more than it has been.
I have Robinson in Jason's league. I had to bench him today.
21-yard pass to Najee Harris, and here's another pass to this Nick Westbrook-Akeem, or however you say his name, 13 yards from Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill using everyone that's not fantasy relevant today. So, and Dawson Knox get another 11-yard reception. What's up with Tannehill just passing it to everyone besides Julio?
Looks like the Browns just got an interception.
Is Julio playing today? That should be the main question, because I don't know that he has a single reception, if I'm being honest.
Let's take a look. Yeah, he
Julio
has
Jones.
three catches for 47 yards for Julio Jones.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I don't recall seeing his name pop up at all in here. But
And then Westbrook Akeen also has 3 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown.
good.
He's 3 for 3. Jones is 3 of 4 targets. So
Carlos Hyde getting a 6-yard rush. So, whew. Yeah, Justin Fields throwing that interception. That's good though. It was to John Johnson, who I did start in my IDP, I do believe. So, hey, I'll take that because he had 1 tackle on the day. So it's nice that he got an interception there.
okay, so they're past the glitch, and the latest touchdown is up now. James Robinson 40-yard touchdown.
Hey, good deal.
It is now the most recent touchdown on the thing.
Hallelujah.
Oh, actually, I lied. I went back, and there's another one that snuck in there right before they did that. So Swift up the middle for a 2-yard touchdown.
Hey,
Then the field goal return for touchdown still up there, and then the James Robinson touchdown shows. So they're still having some glitches, but it's getting better.
And now, guys, you are a CEH owner. You are excited to finally get a touchdown.
Okay, so I lied. That defensive touchdown just skipped all the way back to the front, and everything else went behind it again. So
it did.
That's awesome. Edwards-Helaire just grabbed a 10-yard touchdown.
Yep, on a reception.
Yeah, that they got to get that glitch fixed. That's really annoying.
I mean, if I'm being honest, are we surprised that that Fantasy Cast is messing up? ESPN does this every year.
Every year, ESPN has issues. Yeah.
Yeah. So, not super surprised. Annoyed, but not surprised. Not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Honestly, at this point, like I just expect it, so I'm not even disappointed.
Isn't that sad? Jonathan Taylor with a 5-yard rush. Justin Fields pass complete to David Montgomery for 11.
I do like that Swift touchdown a lot for a couple of our leagues, and then I have Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the family league, and I benched him this week for Mike Williams in my flex, and now he's scoring points, so awesome.
Yeah, Mike Williams could also put up more points for you. We're playing each other in that league right now.
After your ludicrous trade that you got last week, I'm not happy about this matchup.
Also, Josh Allen with another touchdown pass. Emmanuel Sanders, 5 yards. That is Emmanuel Sanders and Josh Allen both racking up points today. My goodness.
Dude, I love that for Josh Allen so much.
So right now, here are your top receivers as of right now. Jamar Chase is at the top with 20.8, and he's actually tied to Cole Beasley, also 20.8. So those are your top 2 scorers, followed by Emmanuel Sanders with 18.9. So really it's a number 1 and number 3 wide receivers on the day there. And then oddly, number 4 is Jacoby Myers, 14.9, followed by Marquez Callaway with 14.1. Tyler Boyd at 13.6, Diggs at 12.2, and Ridley at 11.6. And then Nick Westbrook-Akeen at 11, Christian Kirk at 10.3. So of your big-time wide receivers, really, you have Diggs and Ridley in the top 10 coming out at 7 and 8. And otherwise, it's just a bunch of smaller guys. I mean, when you're looking at Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders, they're the number 2 and number 3 there. And they're leading the way here. Diggs down at number 7, but that whole offense eating right now.
It's kind of crazy, man. Sanders and Beasley having such a big day. But
Beasley just getting a lot of those PPR points. I mean, he just
Josh Allen's on fire today.
Beasley is 11 for 12. He's had 12 targets. He doesn't have a touchdown, and he's still at the top. Oh, Emmanuel Sanders just jumped to the top. They just did that. So he's at 26.4. Cole Beasley tied at number 2 with 20.8. So they have the number 1 and number 2 wide receiver on the day and the number 7. That offense is just doing incredible. Cole Beasley to be up there with no touchdowns and still at the top is
absolutely humming.
And because he's tied, Emmanuel Sanders has 2 and Jamar Chase has 2. And he has none, and he's still at the top with them.
Josh Allen came out today and said, okay, all you people doubting me out there right now, about to show you what's what. Because he is absolutely crushing it today.
Against the good Washington defense.
Yes. So all you people who panicked and traded him, I hope you feel silly.
Boy, the Chargers just tried to flea flicker as well. Had to throw it into the dirt. Both teams have now tried to flea flicker. Anything you can do, I can do the same, apparently.
Or worse.
The other one ended up being thrown into the dirt as well, so both of them failed. Mark Andrews with a 7-yard reception, and Paris Campbell getting an 11-yard reception.
Mark Andrews having a pretty decent day today.
Yeah. Yep. He's not doing bad. Tyson Williams with a 5-yard rush. Whoop, whoop. I'd say he's looking good today, and that's Austin Eckler. He's looking really good today, rushing and catching. He's kind of doing it all against Kansas City.
Kyler Murray just threw for 18 yards to Christian Kirk.
Nice. And
yeah, Austin Eckler's having a really good day.
Odell Beckham with a 16-yard reception. So he's done some decent work.
I was watching this Chargers-Chiefs game earlier before I hopped on. And, Eckler was already having a pretty good day. And then Herbert tried to throw it to Larry Roundtree one time. And it was like it hit cinder blocks for hands and went straight to the ground. And then, the very next drive, Eckler got that receiving touchdown. It's just don't throw it to Roundtree, apparently. It looked terrible. It just threw a little short out in the flat, just boom. The kid turned around and just almost slapped it down trying to catch it. It was really awkward looking. Nobody around him. He was just trying to run too fast, before he caught it or something. But
not good.
It was tough.
Christian Kirk with a 33-yard reception from Kyler Murray. So they're down on the Jacksonville 4, first and goal.
So that's back-to-back pretty big plays for Kirk there.
Kirk is doing well. Yes, he's having a day. Rondell Moore pretty much non-existent.
Jared Cook for 21-yard catch.
And
Mixon just chipping away slowly here. I've seen a few just short plays for him.
And then Latavius Murray with an 8-yard rush as they rotate in again on back-to-back plays. Steelers wide receiver Juju Smith ruled out with a rib injury. So Juju out now. Looks like that's Chase Claypool's offense all of a sudden.
We also have James Conner just scored a 4-yard touchdown for the Cardinals.
So that's good. That'll get them closer there.
Would have liked to see Kyler Murray run that in, but, we can't get everything. Everything we want, right?
There's some Chase Edmonds owners are not super happy about that. A couple back-to-back passes, it looks like, to Kareem Hunt, one for 5 yards, one for 23 yards. Oh, Devontae Smith now in for the Ravens.
I was just about to say the same thing.
That was
Freeman back in now.
Williams, Murray, Freeman. Bam, bam, bam. And now a 24-yard pass to Mark Andrews, who's getting some good work.
Mark Andrews is having a good day.
Someone's going to go burn down the Ravens' practice facility if they keep this up.
I wouldn't put that out there in the universe. Antonio Gibson with a 7-yard rush. Looks like it's called back on a penalty. So
Kareem Hunt with a 7-yard rush, having some production. The Ravens are just going to irritate a lot of people with that. That's going to be tough.
Yeah. I got I think I got Murray in 1 or 2 leagues, and I'll probably hang on to him in case for bye weeks, but I'm not starting him unless I'm in a dire situation.
Yeah, I started Tyson in a couple of leagues today just because, duh. And
because I thought he was going to be the guy. I don't understand it.
Doesn't make any sense, and I guess just know not to trust that.
Up is down, in is out, left is right. I don't know what to do with my hands right now.
It's bad. Jackson getting here, Justin Jackson getting a rush for the Chargers and getting lit up. Should probably sub him out. He's hurt. Just his feelings. His feelings are hurt. His pride is hurt. He's not physically hurt, but that was not good. He just got lit up. Herbert looking really good. Him and Keenan Allen connecting a lot. They just have some good chemistry going.
Herbert's having a very good day. Yeah,
he is. He's on target. His receivers are coming down with some great catches too.
I think he was a little mad he lost to the Cowboys last week.
Yeah, probably. But what's funny is they've been dominating this game and they're still losing by 3 now to Kansas City. So Kansas City's just too dangerous.
You just can't keep them down.
Saquon Barkley with a 12-yard completion after a 4-yard rush. So he's getting you some points there. Keenan Allen, I'm sure he's probably racking up some PPR points because he's getting a lot of receptions. I'm going to go look over here and see. Gosh, there's so many no names on this list. It's pretty ridiculous. Keenan Allen up to 12.1 points, number 9 on the day. Let's see. Anything else going on? Looks like we're wrapping up some third quarters here. Another pass completion to Saquon Barkley for 3 yards. He's going to rack up a couple PPR points there.
We had a 1-yard pass to Logan Thomas, and then Heineke threw a interception to Micah Hyde.
Good times. Derrick Henry with a 10-yard rush. Got a question here. Someone said, I picked up Madison. Would you start him over Gaskin?
Yes.
I agree.
I would. That Dolphins offense, they're splitting the carries so evenly, and then not having Tua. Like, I just don't see him having a very good day.
Oh, boy. There's a big play. If you started the Cardinals defense today, you're happy about this. Trevor Lawrence threw a pick 6.
Yep.
So your Cardinals defense getting a score there.
Was that Josh also that was asking the defensive question?
Yeah, we told him. Yeah, we told him Cardinals, so we at least got one right there for him.
Yeah, one out of like 8 questions I think he had.
Most of them all had to do with Mike Williams.
Yeah, that's true.
But if he started Amari Cooper, then he could still have a good day there. It depends. This just should have been A.J. Brown's week, so that hamstring is very concerning. I'm not excited about that.
I always
it hurts me this week, and it hurts me for future weeks too.
I always get nervous about hamstring injuries. Also, just now, Kareem Hunt for a 29-yard touchdown.
That helps us in a league. I know that.
Yes, it does, and I love it. And we went for a couple of scores there where it looked like the fantasy cast was going to start putting them in the most recent spot again, and then all of a sudden that stupid field goal return jumped all the way to the end again. It's just I don't.
At some point, just remove it from the system. You don't need it anymore. That's so funny. I don't know what's going on there.
It's like nobody monitors any of this during the day.
Yeah.
You got the people putting in the points, but they don't monitor how this is actually working during the game days.
Kareem Hunt, we have him up to 22.7 points in PPR. I'm not sure. This is in our post-draft league here. It's curious. Ridley in there only has 8 points, which is weird. Calvin Ridley, I don't know how that scoring works in there, I guess.
Yeah, let's see. Let's go down here and look. I want to see some box score here for the Falcons because
Travis Kelce in there also at 14.4.
There's some interesting, like Mike Davis has 7 carries. Cordell Patterson has 5. Mike Davis a lot more effective with his. Ridley has 6 catches for 56 yards.
I'm guessing it's a half point.
So half PPR plus 50 yards, yeah, it's 8 points. Patterson has 3 catches for 29. Davis has 3 catches for 16. So Davis and Patterson splitting almost even in the passing and rushing game.
Well,
Kyle Pitts has no catches, no targets.
So Mike Williams going to get a touchdown catch here. So Josh looking smarter and smarter, and kind of hoping he pops on here to brag about it. Because
do we know, did Kyle Pitts get hurt or anything, or has he just not been targeted today?
That's a great question. I'm actually not sure because I haven't seen him pop up.
Yep, there's that Mike Williams touchdown for 20 yards. I'm glad I started him in the league I did.
I don't own any stock in him right now. In any leagues, and I won't be able to get my hands on him either.
I haven't seen anything about him pop up.
No, I haven't either. But it looks like he had, 0 receptions for 0 yards, which is very disappointing.
We got him in our Vegas league, starting in the flex spot.
my work league, I am at a 50-50 chance because luckily the other guy I'm playing against had A.J. Brown and Quentin Cephas. So I have 0.5 points from Pascal, 0 points from Kyle Pitts, 1 point from Koo, and he has 0.5 points from Cephas and 0 points from A.J. Brown. So the only person, and he had McCaffrey. So the only player scoring between our two teams is Keenan Allen with 12.5 points for him. I have Joe Mixon with 7.5, but I have Marquez Callaway on my bench. So rough day. That's just.
I don't see anything about Kyle Pitts being injured or nothing, so he's just not been targeted.
Yeah, he just hasn't been used, and that's stupid.
That is asinine.
Yeah, that is just absolutely ridiculous.
Why would you not? So Tyler Bass just made a field goal. Mac Jones, an 11-yard pass to Kendrick Bourne, and then a 4-yard pass to Jacoby Myers. Myers is having a good day.
Jacoby Myers having a decent day. Yep.
Justin Fields incomplete for Allen Robinson. I've seen a lot of incomplete passes to Allen Robinson, I feel like.
Yes, definitely so.
Justin Fields struggling a little bit in his first start when he has the ball. I mean, like you say, we were talking earlier, he barely touched the ball in the first half.
Yep. Just to kind of cover here, your running backs today, your running back leaders are not as surprising as your wide receiver leaders. You got Kareem Hunt at the top with 25.4. But then you have DeAndre Swift at 19.5, Austin Eckler at 19.3, Alvin Kamara at 18.2. Zach Moss is up there at 15.8. But then you have Antonio Gibson with 15.6, Clyde Edwards-Helaire at 14.9, Najee Harris 14.8, James Robinson 14.4, finally producing, and Derrick Henry at number 10 with 13.8. So you actually have your bigger names actually producing at running back today. Whereas your wide receivers, it's more of people you don't expect.
Yeah, Kenny Galladay just caught a 16-yard pass.
Nice. Tannehill also just threw another touchdown pass to McNichols, literally throwing every touchdown pass to insignificant players today. It's very strange, but he's got a lot of touchdowns today as well. I believe that makes let's see, where is he on the points thing? He'll be up near the top now. So once this refreshes, Josh Allen leading with a 30.26. But that'll put him up near the top. He's playing pretty well today.
Yeah, that's three TDs for Tannehill today. He's 14 of 22 for 163 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. What a mixed bag for Tannehill today.
No doubt.
2 rushes for 45 yards, though, so that helps those numbers a little bit.
Looks like Saquon Barkley with a 1-yard touchdown. So finally producing some points this week. for his owners, which is really nice. And it looks like Derrick Henry got a 2-point conversion rush. So
unless you're playing against Barkley this week when he finally does something,
right?
Then you're ticked off.
Yeah, like I had to play him in week 3 when he finally scored some points. Marvin Jones with a 10-yard catch.
Marvin Jones having a quiet day after the last couple weeks. He's had big games.
Yeah, agree. Clyde Edwards-Helaire still producing. Good for him. It's good to see him finally have a day.
Yeah, he's not being like super effective, but he's getting a ton of volume.
Well, he got that touchdown earlier, so that helps.
Well, that does help. But like on a per carry basis, he's not like racking up yards really, but he's just getting so many carries. So you love to see when your players get that kind of volume.
Absolutely. We're playing in our Vegas here against Fantasy Football State of Mind. And the day we're having in there right now, we have McLaurin with 4 points. McCaffrey was injured the other day with 5 points. Pitts hasn't had a target all day. He's sitting at 0, and Koo has 1 point kicking. Just to keep in mind that Dom has Tyler Bass with 13 points kicking. His tight end is Andrews with 13.4. He has Keenan Allen doing well, and Julio Jones. He happened to play Julio Jones this week when A.J. Brown went down. He's having a decent week. He has the Arizona defense as well. So
the only one we got doing anything right now is going to be Swift.
Yeah, Swift has 17.3 for us. Everyone else has less than 5 points. So we are looking to get beat there by almost 40 points. We will start out 0-3 in that league. We've had really, really bad luck.
I've never had a year with as bad of luck as I'm having this year.
We have had multiple players score less than like 3 points in multiple weeks in there. Like we're just having the worst luck in there. It's not good, honestly. That league is going very bad, and it's not because we have a bad team. We actually have a good team. They're just not producing at all. Odell Beckham on our bench with 11.2. The only thing we could have done there is put him in for Kyle Pitts. At this point.
Speaking of Beckham, he just had a 15-yard catch, and then Jamal Williams had a 12-yard rush, 5 yards to Darrell Williams from Patrick Mahomes. Kamara rushed for a yard and then rushed for -3 yards. Carson Wentz, 27 yards to Zach Pascal.
Nick Chubb gets a 14-yard rush. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's really good for him. AJ Green getting a couple catches today. Everyone but Rondale Moore getting catches today after he was like one of, if not the top waiver wire pickup this week. Wide receiver, everyone going out.
I grabbed him in a couple of leagues. Yeah,
same.
I don't think I started him anywhere though.
Same. I picked him up, didn't start him, but also,
maybe I started him in one.
Same.
No, I can't remember. Would have been. Let's see. It would have been this league if I did. Nope, I didn't start him. I was gonna say it was Jason's league. If I did, I started Corey Davis instead. So
got it.
We'll see how that turns out. Probably fine since Rondale Moore's not doing anything.
Yeah,
it's probably gonna work out just fine.
The Chargers.
Chubb with a 3-yard rush. Chubb is starting to chip away at him now, just wearing him down.
Yeah, still not getting a lot of point production there, but which is weird. I mean, Chubb, I've had FOMO on Chubb the last 2 weeks because he's just been tearing it up. But man, that's what makes fantasy so frustrating. Though you can have the better roster and it just doesn't matter, and that makes it very frustrating.
Sometimes it doesn't.
So, I mean, you get an injury to where, you have an A.J. Brown on your team. When you have a player go down with less than a point, I mean, or in some leagues 0 if you don't get partial points, I mean, it can lose your matchup, just one player going down because you're automatically down a player, and that's tough to come back from. So that sort of thing can happen for sure.
Happens every week to somebody.
Happens every week to me. I'll give it that. I am in Roll Tide. I'm gonna start 0-3 after winning the championship last year. I've never started 0-3. In fact, I don't know if I've ever started 0 or like 1-2. I mean, I think I've always had a winning record after week 3. So that'll be a first for me. Just bad luck, man. Bad luck with Tyson Williams because it's still going to be a close game, and I have 2 players with less than a point. So it's rough. They have 1 point combined, and you just can't win with that kind of production. So.
Yeah, I'm not doing great in Roll Tide right now.
I have a couple leagues like that, honestly, where my teams just aren't. I have a really good roster, top half at least, and granted, in Roll Tide, I've played the top scorer both weeks back to back. So,
real quick, 9-yard catch by DeAndre Swift, 36-yard pass to Nyheim Hines from Carson Wentz.
mm-hmm.
That's it for now.
Hines putting up some.
Hines he's having a pretty decent day. He's not getting a ton of work, but he's doing a lot with the ones he is getting.
Yep, he's getting enough. The Chiefs are driving. They are in the red zone. They're going to be at 2nd and goal now. So we'll see who.
Swift with a 4-yard rush.
Yeah, Swift's getting quite a bit of play there for sure.
Having a good day. Mahomes 11 yards to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, Hawkinson just disappearing today. Holy cow! In a game that they're losing and need to be like throwing the ball probably. Browns get a 52-yard field goal.
I mean, the Lions seem really committed to the run. With Swift and Jamal Williams, they seem really committed to the run. I guess when Jared Goff is your quarterback, you protect him as much as possible. Like I said, I don't understand. Other than, the Colts linebacker core is pretty solid. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong. The Ravens. I looked down at the other game for a second.
No,
the Ravens linebacker core is pretty solid, so that might have something to do with Hawkinson not really doing much today. He might be running a lot of decoy to help pull those linebackers, apart, open them running lanes up a little bit. So, using him to block for runs and stuff. Okay, so Mecole Hardman with an 8-yard touchdown.
Yep, and then a 5-yard pass completion to Najee Harris.
So we should have started. Did we start Hardman in True Serum, or did we leave in Watkins? I can't remember.
We left in Watkins.
That's my bad, because I'm pretty sure I talked you into that one.
Just saying. We
should have put Hardman in for Ingram the other night instead, but that didn't work out.
Yeah. Luckily, we kept in Callaway. We're projected to win that one pretty handily.
Which is good. We got whooped the last 2 weeks because our guys just did nothing.
It's one of those where, I think we had the better roster and still lost. Ooh, there's 10 yards to Kyle Pitts. Guys, he is alive. And then an 8-yard pass reception to Najee Harris. Chase Edmonds with a 7-yard reception. Guys, Kyle Pitts is on the field. He is playing. He is alive.
I remember last week he didn't do anything for 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter, every pass went to him. So maybe he's just a fourth quarter guy.
Maybe they sitting until the fourth quarter.
Maybe.
Here's my thought though. You spent the number 4 overall draft pick on this guy.
Feed him the rock.
What are you doing?
Well, it's not like they're throwing to Calvin Ridley in a ridiculous amount today either. So
no, I mean he has 6 whole receptions. Like they're not throwing him in a huge. What are they doing?
So Mac Jones to Kendrick Bourne for a 22-yard touchdown.
Okay, so that helps nobody.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's probably a handful of people that have Kendrick Bourne because he had some preseason hype.
But no one's starting.
But nobody's starting him yet. Not until the bye weeks or
I mean, I'm in a 14-team league. And no one's
more injuries and stuff. Bye weeks, but not right now. They're not. Now I could see some DFS guys grabbing him to save some salary for other positions, maybe. But Matt Ryan, 26 yards to Cordero Patterson. Hey, Rondale Moore with a 3-yard rush.
Hey.
It's not great, but he's involved.
Wow.
Rondale Moore with the comeback, baby.
That's so sad.
David Montgomery, 1-yard rush. David Montgomery's always been such an uninspired player to me. I don't know.
Maybe I just want him to be good for some odd reason. I mean, he
James-
is. I just feel like that offense just isn't doing anything as a whole today, though. So to be fair,
James Conner just scored a 1-yard touchdown. So
that's-
Edmonds and Kyler Murray owners groan and boo once again for a James Conner vulture touchdown.
That's what I was afraid of in that offense.
Rodrigo Blankenship with a 24-yard field goal. Yeah, Chris Boswell with a 26-yard field goal. Yeah, I was totally afraid that's exactly what James Conner's role was going to be, was to screw over everybody at the goal line.
Yep. He is the new. Who's the guy I'm thinking?
Mike Tolbert.
No,
that was all that guy did. He would come in, he'd score a touchdown, and he'd go up till they were on the goal line again.
Played for Mike Williams. He was around forever. Played for the Pats so long, and then he played for the Oregon Ducks maybe, and then came in and played.
Oh, LeGarrette Blount.
Well, Garrett Blount, my gosh, vulture and a half.
I needed a team before I could give you a guess. 43-yard pass to Mike Williams. Good Lord.
Yeah, Mike Williams, he's having a day. So shout out to Josh for getting that right.
Followed up by an 11-yard Austin Eckler rush.
I'm really hoping Josh ended up starting Mike Williams like he was saying he would.
Would have worked out for him if he did.
Yeah, I hope he comes on Tuesday and comes and throws it in our face because
I do too. Like, I deserve that. I'll eat that plate of crow. Because we were giving him so much crap for it.
Well, but because he was saying start them over AJ Brown and Amari Cooper, and it's like whoa. But
I mean, we haven't seen Amari Cooper's day yet. He plays tomorrow night.
Right.
But Mike Williams is having a day. I'll give him that. It doesn't look absurd now as it sounded before the games.
Right. Let me tell you who's eating right now, and that's Austin Eckler. He's just getting rush after rush after rush and getting yards. And I know that we think of Austin Eckler as a receiving back and stuff, but he's running right up the middle and getting some chuck yards. So we got that 11, then he got a 6, and now he got a 9-yard rush. So he's just racking those up. Kareem Hunt also was taking all these plays from Chubb today.
Derrick Henry just had a 12-yard rush. He's had like 3 or 4 carries in a row there.
That's good. Calvin Ridley also with a 4-yard reception, so he's still in the game. So I know we were probably wondering about that because he hasn't had a reception in a long time. It seems like he's had that problem this year where he'll get like some early, he'll get some good action, and then just disappear.
Yeah. It's always disappointing when your receivers do a disappearing act for 2 quarters and then all of a sudden they come back and they start catching a bunch. And you're like, why couldn't you do that the last 2 quarters? You'd have 40 points.
Yeah,
Joe Mixon with a 5-yard rush.
And Kareem Hunt with a 19-yard rush. He's just being more productive today. Kareem Hunt on a roll. So calling butter because he's on a roll.
That's how you ride a hot hand right there. Cleveland has mastered it.
Yep, they know what they're doing with their running backs, and they let them have their time, and then you figure out who's hot. You don't do it every other play. You're not rotating them like that. That's silly.
Trevor Lawrence, 10 yards to Marvin Jones. Joe Burrow, 7 yards to Jamar Chase.
And you got another 1 yard reception from Calvin Ridley in PPR, though. That is good. Marvin Jones just getting work, man. I didn't know.
Not as much today as the last couple weeks, but he's been their go-to guy there, it seems, over the
Here's
first
another
few
note. Sorry to interrupt, but just while it's up here, Derrick Henry with an 11-yard reception. He's had a few 10-plus yard receptions. They are getting him into the receiving game more this year. And I know, like I said, with John, they talk about that every offseason, but this year actually seems to be the case. Like they've
been saying it for years, so it's good to see him getting that finally. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen, 19 yards to Dawson Knox. So all of a sudden this year, Dawson Knox pretty involved in that offense where he wasn't last year or the year before. Lamar Jackson, 18 yards to Sammy Watkins. Tannehill still thrown to 13 yards to that Nick Westbrook. Akeen, I don't know how to pronounce that. Akeen, something like that.
Not sure. And then Kyle Pitts got targeted. So there's that.
Tyson Williams, 12-yard rush.
They should probably sub him out and put
Devontae Freeman will get the next touch. You watch.
Yeah. Absolutely. Conserve that knee. You don't want to torn ACL. That's crazy. I'm watching that like a hawk right now because I just have a feeling that Williams will not get there.
We have Justin Herbert with 6-yard rush, Alvin Kamara with 11-yard rush. The Bengals punted. Nick Chubb, 6-yard rush.
Oh, Tyson Williams got the next rush for 3 yards. Well, maybe he won the starting job with that 12-yard rush. Jeez.
That's 2 in a row, man. That's more than he's had all day.
It's so frustrating. Guys, the Falcons are down on the 1 yard line at 2nd and goal.
Mike Davis just got stuffed.
I can see. Alvin Kamara got an 11-yard rush.
James Robinson with a 5-yard rush.
What do you think gets that touchdown for the Falcons, Kyle? Do you think
Patterson? I think they're going to give it to Patterson after Davis got stuffed on 1st and goal.
Yeah. Oh, we got a touchdown up here for the Bills. And
Matt Ryan threw to Lee Smith.
Come on, man. That is so annoying.
Who is Lee Smith?
Josh Allen scrambled and got a 2-yard touchdown.
All right. Josh Allen owners rejoicing once again.
Man, he is winning you your games this week. Josh Allen is paying off big time.
A couple of slow weeks to start the year and then just going bananas today.
Yep.
Kamara with a 3-yard rush. Trevor Lawrence, 12 yards to DJ Chark. So Chark's having a pretty good day today.
Not bad. He's getting a couple catches in there.
And young Josh Allen.
Koo getting another extra point, so he's up to 2 points on the day. Went from a lead kicker in the league to just not really producing.
I actually dropped him in a league the other day.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm kind of headed down that same path.
That offense is just not moving the ball. Yeah, they're not moving the ball at all.
I mean, you're talking about you got a top kicker. You're not even getting in field goal range. That's how bad you're getting. Like, you're not even in field goal range. That's horrible.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Nick Chubb with a 6-yard rush.
Taysom Hill with a 14-yard rush. I know no one's starting him.
It's nice to see, like you say, some of these big names starting to get their points on the board finally.
Yeah.
I mean, you still got Matt Ryan and Tannehill throwing everything to no-namers, but everybody else is getting a little bit back on track this week.
It's interesting because it feels like not everyone can be on the same page same week. Like, you have one set of stars scoring this week, and the next week they do bad, but the other set of stars, like, they're just flip-flopping. There's no.
That's always the case. That's always the case. Every year, that's the case.
Kinda. this year's been exceptionally worse, I feel like, with stars just not producing.
It's been a little worse, but that does tend to happen a
Because
lot.
we have some stars that are in their third week of not producing right now.
Tannehill just had a 13-yard rush. Kamara had a 6-yard rush.
Ooh, this Chargers red zone offense is looking rough. Looking really rough. Chase Claypool with a 17-yard reception.
So what is you doing, baby?
Easily their top pass catcher there right now. Alvin Kamara's having a better day. Good for him.
He's doing well today.
They're actually throwing the ball to him today, which helps quite a bit.
Man, Ben and Chase Claypool, that's the only thing left there, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Claypool's 17-yard catch. I mean, who else is? James Washington, I guess. He was starting today already for Deontay Johnson, wasn't he?
Yeah, but I'm not sure I've seen his name pop up at all.
I did earlier once. Let's have a look here and see.
Well, you're looking that up. Najee Harris with a 5-yard pass completion, but James Robinson gets tackled and fumbles the ball away. 1-yard loss, fumble to the Cardinals defense. That Cardinals defense gets more points, and James Robinson, the points he was actually producing today, take 2 of those back.
So James Washington has 2 catches on 4 targets for 12 yards. Pat Freiermuth, the rookie tight end, has 3 catches for 22 yards on 5 targets. So he's been targeted pretty well today. Claypool, 14 targets, 9 receptions, 96 yards.
He just now got another 29-yard reception.
He's having a busy day today. Najee Harris, 13 targets, 10 receptions, 83 yards.
Jeez.
That is CMC numbers at receiving for Najee Harris. 14 carries for 40 yards. That's not great, 2.9 yards a carry, but that's a hell of a workload when you factor in now he has 11 receptions, Harris. It just updated that. So
that's a 9-yard reception there. Yeah, he's getting some work.
He's getting CMC receiving numbers right now. Which is incredible. Antonio Gibson just had a 6-yard rush. So did Chubb, and then Swift with a 1-yard rush, all here at the same time. Daniel Jones complete to Saquon Barkley for 4 yards. So, yeah, I mean, Najee Harris heavily involved as kind of the weeks go by here. He gets more and more familiar and comfortable as a rookie running back in the league. And, dude, those reception numbers are incredible.
Yeah.
You want to trade him in Dynasty?
No, I was just looking at my league right now. He's up to 26.2 points for me. I also have Derrick Henry.
11 of those are just catches.
Yeah, I have Derrick Henry with 19.4, Austin Eckler with 21.9, Calvin Ridley with 14.1, Travis Kelce with 17.4. My team's doing really good in there. My defensive backs are not doing good. But I just happen to be playing against DeAndre Swift with 23.8 and Dawson Knox with 14.9. Justin Tucker has 11 points. And his defensive backs are scoring a lot compared to mine. So I'm still projected to lose in there, even with I'm projected to lose by 24 points, even with my monster lineup. And he still has Dalvin Cook in his lineup against me out, and I'm still projected to lose by 24 points. I don't know how. So it's interesting. That's
Jared Goff, 19-yard pass to Khalif Raymond. Another 3-yard pass to Najee Harris. Like, he's just racking up catches. He was racking up dump-offs today.
And honestly, Najee Harris was a great receiving back in college, and I figured they wanted to use him like that here, and they need to.
But 12 catches so far? Holy cow.
But I tell you, watching him with Alabama, they were able to throw him the ball, and it was fun to watch. So Sarkisian was very clever with how they used Najee Harris in the receiving game, I feel like. And So maybe they're figuring that out here for the Steelers too. I mean, what a weapon. It's working. They're down in the red zone now. They haven't been doing much good otherwise, but they're moving the ball now, throwing to Najee Harris. So maybe
we have a direct snap to Taysom Hill for a 4-yard touchdown for the Saints. For those of you who started Taysom Hill today.
Also, I'm going to be a little fair here with the Steelers and Najee Harris getting all these receptions. They're down by 14 with less than 4 minutes to go. They're probably playing a little bit softer defense, and those checkdowns to Najee Harris are just going to be more open. Yeah. So that's probably why he's getting so many receptions. They're just letting him kind of move it down the field slowly but surely. They're just letting them do that. So that's probably why he's getting so many receptions.
Yeah, they're just chipping away at it.
There's James Washington with an 8-yard reception. So I'm not sure if anyone actually started him today, but
some Deontay Johnson owners might have.
Maybe. It's possible.
Not likely, but possible.
For your sake, I hope not. If you're listening to this, I hope you did not have to start him. So let's see.
Here we are in an awkward dead spot.
Yeah.
Extra points, kickoffs, a timeout.
Cam Sims, 15-yard reception. Yeah, it's weird when everything kind of lines up to be a dead spot across all games. It's very strange.
Yeah, very much so.
Go over here and check for any sort of injury updates that they may have. Oh my gosh.
18 yards for Michael Pittman. And then a 1-yard rush for Antonio Gibson.
So Patrick Mahomes just threw an interception. Way overthrew Kelsey. That was an easy interception. He didn't have to work for
it. Daniel Jones, 10 yards to Saquon Barkley. Mac Jones, 9 yards to Hunter Henry. And Kyler Murray, 2 yards to Chase Edmonds.
Hunter Henry. Man, that's a name. We've been doing this for weeks.
I saw you had another catch earlier, too.
Just feel like that name does not pop up at all.
Kind of curious what his numbers are. Let's see. Let's have a look.
Just on the season or on this game? Or
nah, for today, because I've seen his name pop up earlier. I'm just curious what he's done today.
Just so everyone knows, Kendrick Bourne is up to 19.6 points today.
So Hunter Henry today has had 5 receptions on 6 targets for 36 yards.
Wow.
Whereas Jonnu Smith is 1 catch on 6 targets for 4 yards.
Jeez.
So very ineffective targets there.
No kidding. Makes you wonder how good those targets actually were. I mean, sometimes these guys get targets and really the quarterback's just throwing it at their feet.
Or it's a throwaway. Yeah, I mean, but then you look up here, you got Kendrick Bourne, all right, 6 catches on 7 targets, 96 yards and a touchdown. Jacoby Myers, 8 catches on 11 targets for 84 yards. So Bourne and Myers are pretty clear top 2 receivers there. Henry and Johnny they're going to go back and forth on big games all year probably.
So gonna on our Grow Your page where we're in this league with all these people, Kyle, all these other pages, we are projected as 104 points. Our opponent is projected 106. And in the league, no one else, there's one other team projected to even break 100 points. Everyone else is flopping. And, of course, we're playing the high-scoring team of the week.
I need to interrupt you for 1 second so this doesn't go away. Taylor Heineke, 37-yard pass to Terry McLaurin.
Yep, that's a big one.
And then Justin Herbert, 15 yards to Keenan Allen. Both just happened.
McLaurin needed that big time.
I wanted to get those out there real quick.
Yeah, those are more important. I was just letting you know, like, our team is producing well over there. The rest of the league is not performing well. We just happen to be playing the high scorer who's projected to beat us by 3 points right now.
Of course.
So that's annoying. Yeah, that's an annoying feeling. So that could start us off at 1-2 if we lose that. Either team would start off at 1-2 that loses that between us and go for 2. We're both going to get screwed there. So
Bengals are in a timeout now, but right before the timeout, Joe Mixon had a 7-yard rush. Then Justin Herbert just threw for 6 yards to Jared Cook. And then we have incomplete passes to McLaurin and Robinson back-to-back. Antonio Gibson a rush for no gain. You hate to see your player's name pop up and it's incomplete or no yards. Like
happens all the time.
No gain. You're like, really?
Now, if it's a reception for no gain in a PPR, it doesn't break my heart quite as much. It's like, well, at least I got a point.
Well, yeah, that's different. But when it's a carry, it's like, he took a hit for no benefit to my team at all.
James Robinson gets a 5-yard reception.
Justin Fields was sacked and fumbled, or was it 4th down? I'm not sure. Anyways, it's a Browns ball. What does this say? I don't know if that was a sack fumble or if it was a turnover on downs, but it's the Browns ball now after Fields got sacked. So the Bears on that struggle bus today, for real.
It just says sacked. It doesn't say anything about fumble, so I'm guessing that was a 4th down.
I'm guessing it was a 4th down, yeah.
So they're now on the Chicago 21.
Now, Matt Ryan just had a 28-yard pass to Cordero Patterson, and then Trevor Lawrence 12 yards to James Robinson. And then right after the Cordero Patterson catch, Mike Davis rushes for 2 yards. So they flip-flop a lot there too, like the Ravens, except they only got 2 instead of 3 that they're moving around.
Yeah, but that's because Patterson's kind of he's more of a gadget player. They're moving that around really strange. Heineke with a 5-yard rush. Okay. I was not expecting the Bills to just come in and just beat up on Washington that badly, honestly.
I didn't think it would be that bad. Heineke just threw a 2-yard touchdown to Logan Thomas, though. So for those of us who own Logan Thomas, that is a relief.
Yeah, I've been looking for that for a while.
That is a huge relief.
No doubt about that. That is just... Oh, look at that. 25-yard reception by Kyle Pitts. So, going to get some garbage time in here, it looks like.
I'll take garbage time. I need points from that kid.
Yeah, they are. The Falcons are on the Giants' 25-yard line with 1:04 left to go. And that's tied 14-14. So, Falcons just need a field goal there to win that game.
We had a 9-yard catch from Michael Pittman and then 3-yard catch from Nyheim Hines in that game also just now.
We can't decide. Is that the same 12-yard reception by James Robinson down there? Or did he get
I think so.
Same one?
I think so.
I think you're right. Kyle Pitts getting some late, I don't know if I'd call it production, late action.
Pitts is kind of the king of garbage time the last couple of weeks. Because last week it was like either the last or the second to last drive of the game. All of a sudden he caught like 3 balls in a row. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
There you are.
Yeah. He's up to 4.5 points up from 0 points.
I remember I used to have Allen Robinson back when he played for the Jags. And he would always get just a bunch of garbage times that like he wouldn't do anything the whole game. In the last drive of the game, he'd catch like 2 or 3 balls, including like a deep Hail Mary type pass at the end. And you're just like, all right, great. Mike Davis with a 3-yard rush and then a 13-yard pass to James Robinson. That was different.
Damian Harris pretty much doing nothing today. He had a
Damian Harris, yeah, he's having a rough day today. I'm glad I benched him. I actually benched him for Marvin Jones in my flex and Roll Tide.
I'm trying to remember. I think I have him in a league. But I think I put in Tyson Williams over him. Yeah, he has 3.2 points, and I put in Williams over him with 2.2. So either way, I lost. On that one, there was no win there.
Zach Moss with a 7-yard rush, a 10-yard pass to Jacoby Myers. Some of these guys that people got late in their drafts, like Jacoby Myers and stuff, really paying off for people so far this year.
6-yard reception by James Robinson and Trevor Lawrence.
He's starting to dump it off a lot now at the end of the game, huh?
And Mike Williams still just racking it up, man. Totally called that. Well, him and Keenan Allen are both getting theirs for sure.
Yeah. There's plenty to go around in that offense for sure.
But my goodness, Mike Williams just
another pass for 8 yards to Najee Harris.
That's insane. Just pass for Najee Harris.
Mac Jones, 14 yards to Brandon Bolden. Younghoe Koo made a 40-yard field goal. So they're up by 3. Falcons up by 3 at the end of the game. They won.
Guys, Mike Williams, roster him, play him. Oh, my God. He's just so huge, dude. He's huge.
He is. He's massive.
Like, they just tossed it up to him 2 plays in a row, and he came down with it. No problem.
Makes you wonder why Phillip Rivers never threw to that guy.
I mean, it's effortless. Herbert just tosses it up here. Not even in a great position.
Trevor Lawrence, 21 yards to DJ Chark. Chark's racking them up today, man.
So that Mike Williams catch is a 4-yard touchdown catch.
Yep, 4-yard touchdown for Mike Williams. So that's going to cap off a great day for Mike Williams.
I mean, just an incredible day. And they shanked that extra point so hard. Way wide left. So Kansas City
one earlier too.
So they're down by 6 with 32 seconds
second missed
left.
field goal today. Or second missed extra point today.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean, he hit almost the exact same.
Man, I mean, Mike Williams with a monster day. Good Lord.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up his stats here. Let's see if this refreshes. Mike Williams at the 33.2 points in PPR. He's 7 of 9, 2 touchdowns, 122 yards. The next close behind him is Emmanuel Sanders with 26.4 points. Then Jamar Chase with 22.4, Kendrick Bourne with 21.6, Cole Beasley with 20.8. Just so strange. Now, Keenan Allen's down here at number 6 with 19 points. So, guys, that's a huge day for Mike Williams. That is hilarious. After earlier, I was like, maybe. Keenan Allen's probably your go-to guy there. Here we are. Eating crow. Whatever. I'll admit to it. I didn't see it coming. It happened.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see
good for him. Hoping that Josh actually did start him. Got that data. If not, Josh will not be coming back to any of our streams ever again. If we talked him out of starting Mike Williams and he missed out on that, if he started A.J. Brown over Mike Williams, we lost a viewer for sure. So much so that he probably went and pushed the unsubscribe button to our YouTube channel. That's how bad that would have been. So we'll see. Trying to see. Yeah, the Lions are now up on the Ravens, 17-16. That's
wild.
Nobody saw that coming, right?
That's kind of crazy.
I mean, absolutely insane. So now Kansas City has 32 seconds.
So the Bengals are taking knees now. That game's going to be over.
Okay.
Bengals over the Steelers, 24-10. I didn't see that coming either.
And right now,
Jags is final. Titans over the Colts is final.
Oh my goodness, that was so close. Yeah, Kansas City having to fight for their life here. The odds of them winning are kind of slim, but hard to say. Yeah,
aren't you glad I started Mike Williams against you in the family league?
No, Absolutely not. Went from me beating your ass in there to you now. I'm only projecting you by like 3.5 points. So, yeah, Mike Williams is just tearing it up for you over there. But I also got lucky that you sat CEH.
Yeah.
So the trade-off there is fair. You're probably scoring more of the points that you should be scoring as a team, honestly. But
Dude, these first 2 weeks, my team hadn't done anywhere near what it should have been doing.
also, though, you played the Browns defense that got you 18 points today. So you had two big scores there that could win that for you with your defense and Mike Williams together getting 48 points for you. That's insane.
Yeah, because Chubb and Robinson didn't do much for me.
Nope. But really, Calvin Ridley didn't do much over in there. 10.1 points is not
Chubb
good.
Chubb and Ridley basically cancel each other out. Lamar Jackson, 20-point day is not fantastic.
So Kansas City is at the 50-yard line. Now there will be 10 seconds left. Mahomes under pressure, just not really on target. That they are struggling a little bit there, not looking good. They've had, what did I say, 4 turnovers today? 3 or 4, just not.
3 for sure.
That other one I think was their 4th that they recovered. It was almost 5th. Now we have started in on the second slate of games over here. The Jets Broncos have kicked off. The Dolphins Raiders is kicked off. Kyle, do you wanna jump over to our second slate of games?
Yeah, I think we better.
Cool. Let me see here. Yeah.
I'll host it, and then you can just link in because you won't be able to stay the whole time.
Okay, sounds like a plan. I'll see you over there in about 15 seconds.
Yep.
Cool. See you guys. Have a good one. We'll see you on our next